What's up, guys?
Ömer Yiming.
And tonight is our official graduation dinner. My boys and I are hitting up our usual street food spot, and I am sweating bullets trying to act casual. Why? Because the girl I've been simping over for 3 years, Jongyang, is literally sitting at the very next table. She looks like an actual angel in that white dress. So, I do what any tactical genius in love would do. I slam my beer down and yell, "Down the hatch, boys!" flexing like I'm some kind of absolute drinking god. Right on cue, my squad starts dramatically dying. Bro, I can't. I literally cannot keep up. Ugh. They groan in unison, clutching their stomachs, like I just fatally poisoned them in a duel. I swear, these idiots have never put on an Oscar-worthy performance like this in their entire lives. I see exactly what you fools are doing. You're trying to hype me up and make me look alpha in front of her. God, I love you guys, you absolute clowns. Jongyang glances over, looking totally stunned that I can apparently outdrink a whole table. Narrative check. I absolutely cannot. I flash my bros a sneaky thumbs up under the table, like we just pulled off the ultimate heist. But as the night winds down, the reality of graduation starts sinking in, and things get emotional. We're all realizing that we're about to go our separate ways. I chug another beer to cope, my face turning red as a tomato, and we all toast to lifelong brotherhood one last time. Suddenly, I catch her standing up to leave. My heart does a straight-up backflip. I instantly snatch my bag, which has a single blue rose secretly stashed inside. Super smooth, right? Total secret agent vibes. I sprint out after her, barely managing to scream. A messy goodbye to the boys. Big mistake. The moment I'm out the door, they start aggressively gossiping. They're acting like a bunch of aunties. Bro, he's totally going to confess. I literally saw him hide a rose in his bag earlier, and then, I actually cannot believe these traitors. They grab their beer bottles, mobilize, and shadow me. Like a highly unprofessional tactical backup squad. They are straight-up paparazzi at this point. Imagine your own friend group deploying to spy on your love confession. Incredible loyalty, but absolutely zero concept of personal boundaries. So, I'm stealthily trailing behind Jongyang and her friends, rehearsing my lines over and over in my head, like I'm training for the freaking Olympics of romance. Meanwhile, my boys, lurking just a few steps behind me, are already losing their patience. Yo, why hasn't he made his move yet? I'm literally growing gray hairs waiting here. Should we just give him a push? Nah, hold up. Let the man cook. Finally, we all pull up to this quiet, dimly lit plaza. Talk about immaculate romantic vibes. This is it. This is my absolute moment to shine. Fueled by liquid courage and pure, unadulterated desperation, I whip out my single blue rose, the ultimate symbol of true love. Extremely romantic, incredibly overpriced, and about to be completely wasted. Because right then, an entire squad comes marching up, flanking some dude looking sharp as hell in a tailored suit. His hair is perfectly gelled back, and he's flexing 99 red roses like he just robbed a florist. Seriously, he looks like he just stepped out of a K-drama. He looks straight at her and goes, "Joa Young, I've been crazy about you for 3 whole years. Ever since the day I first saw you at training camp. I was hooked, but back then, I knew I wasn't on your level. So I spent 3 years grinding to better myself. And now, I'm finally worthy of standing right here in front of you. These 99 roses represent my entire heart.
Zhang Yang Yang.
I love you. Will you do me the honor of being my girlfriend?" Wait, excuse me? That is literally my line. That is word for word the exact same speech I rehearsed in my head just 5 minutes ago. Did this man seriously just hack into my brainwaves? Joa Young blushes furiously, accepts the massive bouquet, and nods. Instantly, his hype squad erupts into absolute chaos, cheering like their team just clinched a championship title. Meanwhile, there's me, just standing there completely frozen in shock. Feels like a whole stampede of emotional wild horses is trampling over my chest. And of course, I know exactly who this guy is. He's the campus golden boy, top of the class, soccer team captain, and the freaking student council president. He has the ultimate main character package. If he's the blazing sun, I'm not even a distant star.
I'm literal cosmic dust.
This rich, gorgeous plot twist Chad just swooped in and stole Snow White, right out from under my nose, leaving me holding a single, pathetic rose like a total clearance rack Romeo. Behind me, my entire homie squad has literally turned to stone. Li Tao slowly glances down at his phone, right as the most tragically timed notification pops up. He literally typed out in glowing letters, "Chin Ming is #1 in the world tonight," before quietly deleting it like that'll fix the damage. Yo, should we go jump that guy? Someone whispers, "Nah man, let's not make things any worse for him." And right when everyone is hyping up the new power couple of the century, John Younging suddenly spots me standing there all by myself, just looking like a straight-up abandoned NPC.
Yihiming?
What are you even doing here? Suddenly, the entire crowd locks eyes on me holding my one sad little blue rose, like it's a weapon I'm about to swing. The awkward silence is so deafening, I can literally feel my soul leaving my body. So, naturally, I do the only logical thing left. I lie straight through my teeth like an absolute, unbothered legend. Your flower selection has some seriously bad feng shui energy, I say, completely deadpan. Way too much fire elements. This blue rose will cool it right down. 99 plus 1 makes 100. Ultimate completion. Full circle. Super auspicious, you know? And I honestly have no idea where this sheer audacity came from. Maybe it was the alcohol, or maybe just pure, unadulterated humiliation fueling my legs. I calmly stroll up and stab my single blue rose dead center into his massive bouquet of 99 reds, like I'm some mystical traveling monk blessing a marriage. Then I spin around and walk away with zero hesitation, acting like a man who has never known embarrassment in his entire life. Behind me, absolute crickets.
Jin Yang.
The golden boy and the entire squad are just paralyzed. Someone mutters, "Wait, is this guy a genius or a total psycho? Do you even know him?" The exact millisecond I round the corner, I hit the gas into full-blown marathon mode. Tears are instantly streaming down my face, getting whipped away by the wind. Like, why on earth did I think reading those cheesy self-help quotes about finishing what you start was a good idea? I should have just stayed my butt at home and crushed a massive bowl of instant noodles instead. At least ramen doesn't brutally reject you in front of 99 roses. I keep running until I'm a sweaty, gasping disaster in some sketchy, random neighborhood I don't even recognize. There are 0 shops open, barely any working streetlights, and absolutely no Ubers in sight. Looks like I accidentally jogged myself straight to the literal edge of town. Great. Absolutely love that for me. I catch my breath, trying to cope and gaslight myself into thinking it's fine. John Yongin was just a high school phase, right? People grow up and get better. No need to be a total drama queen about it, says me while internally throwing an absolute temper tantrum. But just as I'm zombie walking my way back home, a hypercar comes tearing down the street, engine roaring. Behind the wheel is some rich, flashy playboy with his arm wrapped around a glamorous girl. And surprise, surprise, he is definitely not looking at the road. "Young Master Hua, look out. There's someone ahead." The girl shrieks. I spin around just in time to see headlights, blinding me like twin suns, barreling toward me at Mach speed. Cue the screeching tires and a sickening, bone-snapping thud. And just like that, I'm launched into orbit, flying through the air like a poorly thrown frisbee, before crash landing and ragdolling to a stop. Cool, 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 cool. Everything is fine. What a legendary night. First, my heart gets crushed, and now I'm the victim of a hit and run. The driver hops out, cursing up a storm about me spawning out of nowhere. He checks my pulse, and immediately stumbles backward in pure, unadulterated panic. He's dead. Bro, he's actually dead. He literally slaps the girl across the face, screaming at her to forget everything she just saw or else. Then they peel off into the night, leaving no tracks, abandoning my completely motionless, very much not breathing corpse right there on the asphalt. Meanwhile, completely unbeknownst to yours truly, on account of me being, legally dead, this eerie silver light begins to emanate directly from my chest. It starts weaving into this glowing, ancient, mysterious crest. Super sick detail, honestly. Wish I was awake to appreciate it. Would have made for an insane TikTok. Anyway, cut to elsewhere, inside a luxury hotel penthouse that has absolutely zero connection to my tragic backstory. Yet, a mysterious guy in a sharp black suit hears a knock. "Room service," chirps a cheerful, heavyset dude pushing a silver cart. Suit guy cautiously cracks the door open, and the delivery guy immediately starts rattling off this absurdly fake gourmet menu, like he's performing a stand-up comedy routine. "We've got steamed lamb, steamed bear paw." He's pushing a room service cart, That is way too tiny to hold a real meal. Suddenly, he flips the lid and pulls out a gun. Bam! 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 But the guy in black completely survives. By literally spawning a massive steel safe out of thin air. To block the bullets. Because yeah, that's totally a casual thing people can do. The heavyset guy just smiles, revealing he already knows the man's secret ability. And his exact rank in the organization. The man in black, who is insanely calm for someone who almost got blasted, asks how the waiter figured out he was an imposter. The fat guy gets smug and brags. I memorized every single staff member's face. From the front desk schedule. Total amateur hour. But the man in black drops a truth bomb. No five-star hotel would ever hire a waiter this heavy. Oof, talk about a dead giveaway. The fat guy's cigarette almost drops right out of his mouth. He looks personally attacked and visibly offended. He's absolutely losing it inside. Then, executing a flawless, I'm actually a raid boss move. Pure darkness begins creeping out from under his feet. The entire room goes completely sub-zero, and the man in black goes pale with absolute terror. Why you're the Ghost Lord? And boom, we cut away on that insane cliffhanger. Which has absolutely nothing to do with me, considering I'm currently dead on a sidewalk somewhere. Awesome. Super cool. Great plot progression for me, honestly. Wait. Where am I? I snap my eyes open on a bloody road. It's a strange street, and the sun is barely rising. I immediately do the most logical thing possible. I pat myself down like a panicked mother, checking to see if I lost any limbs. Head still attached, my guts aren't spilling out. My legs move, and as for down there, let's check. Okay, nice. Everything is right where it should be. Truly the ultimate survival checklist. But hold on. I literally just got obliterated by a car. So how do I not have a single scratch on me? That's when I notice a glowing silver crest on my chest. It's made of intricate little diamond patterns, forming a six-pointed snowflake. Looks like it was crafted by a highly dramatic jeweler. Before my brain can even process what's happening, the entire world flips completely upside down, and I'm violently yanked into a gray, empty void. I wake up in this foggy, void-like dimension. Super ominous, full-on main character energy right here. Honestly, love this for me. So I poke the fog. Just regular fog. Next, I touch the ground. Yep, definitely solid ground. Even though I literally can't see a single thing through this haze. But the exact second my hand hits the floor, boom! A blinding light erupts from every single inch of the ground. The fog vaporizes instantly, and suddenly, I'm standing on a massive mirror. It is so flawlessly clean it looks unreal. Perfected, reflecting my completely shocked face right back at me. Then, glowing words begin to manifest on the mirror. Initial soul energy collection. Complete. Mirror flower system. Activated. Wait. Mirror flower? Basic ability unlocked. Innate talent unlocked. Replicate. Unlocked. Soul energy visualization. Enabled. Oh my god. A system. This is an actual system. This is the legendary protagonist starter pack right here. The ultimate plot armor. The ultimate cheat code. The absolute ultimate tool. That every single web novel hero uses to get filthy rich and unstoppable. And, of course, completely irresistible to women. Naturally, I try talking to it like an absolute idiot. Explain yourself. Nothing. Open the user manual. Still nothing. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the most handsome protagonist of them all? Dead silence. Hey Siri. Yep, absolutely nothing. Wow, you are an absolute disappointment of a system. But then, I notice the text has a slightly different color tint to it. So, using my genius detective skills, I poke it with my finger. A new pop-up menu instantly appears. Oh, it's been a touch screen this whole entire time. Bro, I've just been talking to an oversized smartphone with extra steps. Let's see here. Mirror flower. Alters physical laws on all reflective surfaces. Level 1. Dev note. You could even use this to look at, well, you know, wink. Excuse me? I am a pure, innocent young man. Why on earth would I understand a dirty reference like that? Okay, I 100% understand the reference. Alright, this is actually kind of interesting. But at the same time, it's also pretty wild. Like seriously? Everyone else in these stories is pulling OP fire powers. Insane lightning strikes or literal teleportation. And what do I get? Bathroom mirror shenanigans. Fantastic. What an absolute banger of a starter ability. Truly, the heavens have blessed me. But hold up. It says I also have a talent ability. Okay. Talent actually sounds promising. That sounds like destiny is finally calling my name. I tap on Replicate. Replicate. Maintain sustained physical contact with a target's life pattern. To copy their unique ability. Note 1. Copy time is determined by the pattern's complexity. Note 2. Copied skills reset to the system's current level. Note 3. Each system level unlocks an additional replication slot. Max limit is 6. Note 4. Copied skills automatically scale up when the system upgrades. Dev note. Holy crap. How on earth did you end up with a skill this broken? Okay. Damn. This one is actually insane. A literal cheat code to copy anyone's powers. Except, there's a slight catch. I have to maintain constant physical contact with their mysterious life pattern thing. Which means what exactly? Am I supposed to just hug a total stranger for 10 straight minutes? Do I have to beat them to a pulp first? Or use my mirror trick to charm them into taking me on a movie date? I let out a massive sigh. I was just handed a god-tier power, and it's completely useless right now. Mainly because I have zero clues on how to actually trigger it. It's like being set up with a gorgeous girl, who is completely head over heels for me. Except my equipment downstairs isn't currently operational. If you catch my drift. While sulking over my misfortune, I tap on Soul Energy Visualization. Soul Energy Collection. Whenever someone experiences a massive emotional spike, their soul loosens up and leaks raw energy. This energy is harvested to fuel system upgrades. Current progress, 0 out of 1000. Dev note. Works with shock, terror, pure euphoria, and, that cursed little thing called love. Soul energy, huh? That actually reminds me of some old folklore. They say humans possess 3 distinct souls and 7 spirits, and a massive fright can literally knock them loose. Honestly, I think this actually happened to me when I was a kid. I got chased by this vicious stray dog, and ended up running a brutal fever for days. The doctors were entirely useless, until my grandma finally called in the local shaman lady. She performed this intense soul-calling ritual using my clothes, while I was trapped in a fever dream, wandering through pitch-black darkness. Until this glowing golden light literally called my name, and I woke up completely fever-free. So, basically, my cheat system levels up by terrifying people, manipulating them and I literally felt my soul leave my body. Reading this next part, breaking innocent girls' hearts. Fantastic. So my road to absolute power apparently runs entirely on emotional damage. Very heroic. Super ethical, right? Whatever, I'll just wing it and figure it out as I go. I just shrug it off and start heading home. Meanwhile, completely unrelated to my totally normal Tuesday. Yo, did you guys see the news? There was a massive explosion on one of the upper floors of the Hyatt. Yeah, but they're claiming it was just some electrical failure. It's not that simple, Li Tao whispers, his eyes wide with panic. My buddy was renting a room right on the floor below. He swears he heard gunshots before the blast, and saw some crazy shadow jump straight off the building. Bro, that's the 38th floor. Anyway, I walk into our rented apartment, and there's Li Tao whispering conspiracies with our other roommate, Wang Wenrui. Their eyes are wide like they just uncovered classified government secrets. Hey, Qin Ming, where the hell were you last night? We were actually worried. At the PC bang all night. I lie. Total blatant lie. But what am I supposed to say? Oh, I got run over by a car and woke up with an OP magic system? Yeah, right. Turns out, today is actually move-out day. Li Tao is packing out by 2, Wang Wenrui is hitting the road too, and they ask when I'm planning to head home. Still packing, I mumble under my breath, which is also a massive lie. Because here's the reality check nobody actually knows about me. I'm an orphan. I literally grew up in the system. This cramped, rented apartment is literally the only roof I have over my head, funded half by government aid, and half by grinding at my part-time jobs. I can't exactly go home, because home doesn't exist for me. So while Li Tao and Wang Wenrui head back to loving families, waiting to welcome them, I'm just left here with my thoughts. Cool fun, absolutely love that for me. Spoiler alert, I absolutely hate it. Li Tao pats my shoulder, giving me this dramatic, protective big brother energy. Seriously, stay safe staying here alone, man. The world is getting crazy lately. Rumor has it, there are actual superhumans running around now. Superhumans? Huh? Oh, buddy. If you only knew. So now I'm basically the budget Walmart version of one. I start wrapping my head around that massive explosion, this shiny new touchscreen magic system of mine, and my completely useless bootleg copy ability. But then, my brain suddenly goes, wait a minute, what about mirror flower? Maybe I can actually put that one to the test. Only catch is, I need someone standing right in front of a mirror. And of course my roommates are way too busy packing to do me this one simple favor. Honestly, tragic. The universe clearly owes me absolutely nothing today. But then, miracle of miracles,
Litaw.
struts right over to the bathroom mirror to fix his hair, humming some cringe breakup song, while busting out some weird body rolls that genuinely physically pain me to witness. Perfect. I quietly activate my skill, while Li Tao is locked in a mid-tier debate on whether to middle part his hair, or slick it back into an absolute disaster. Suddenly, a pale woman in a white dress slowly materializes right behind his reflection, long black hair draping over her face, with her hands reaching straight for his throat. Ayawa! A scream like a dying pig erupts from the bathroom. Wong Wenrui sprints over, while I follow him cool as a cucumber, totally acting like I didn't just cause this. Li Tao is on the floor, shrieking, "A ghost! A ghost!" pointing a trembling finger straight at the mirror. There's literally Sadako in there. We both look. But the mirror just shows 3 totally normal reflections. And a sunny window, not a single horror movie ghost in sight. Wong Wenrui kicks him, yelling, "You absolute clown! Why Sadako of all things? Why not a zombie? While you're at it." Li Tao slowly pushes himself up and mutters, "Maybe I've just been pulling way too many all-nighters. I'm holding back my laughter so hard my face actually hurts." Just then, a sleek notification pops up in my head. Li Tao's soul energy, +5. Progress, 5/1000. Oh, so that is how you farm soul energy. By scaring people? Man, I am truly built different. I casually pat Wong Wenrui's shoulder, smiling like a dude with absolutely zero secrets. Come on man, nothing's there. Let's bounce. But the exact second we step out, another high-pitched pig squeal rings out. A zombie! This time, Li Tao has turned into a pale, hollow-eyed zombie rocking ancient Qing dynasty robes, hopping right out of the mirror like some horror movie reject. Li Tao's soul energy hits 7, and he completely loses his mind, scrambling out of the bathroom on all fours, while praying to literally every deity he can remember. He reschedules his train ticket from 5 p.m. to 2 p.m., right on the spot, insisting on leaving immediately with Wong Wenrui, and squeezing my hand like we're parting ways before a war. Qin Ming, watch your back. This place is cursed. I give him a solemn nod. Sorry, buddy, but you were today's sacrifice for science. By the afternoon, my roommates are gone and the apartment is finally empty, which means it's testing time. I grab a small spare mirror, toss it in the air, and the pattern on my chest flares up. Suddenly, the mirror just stops midair, hovering like gravity completely forgot to render. Oh, this is massive. Bending reality apparently lets me bend gravity too. I'm basically Magneto, but only for mirrors. A highly specific, moderately impressive superpower. But since I'm a total rookie at this, my control is like a newborn deer trying to walk on ice. I try guiding it left, right, up and down. Then I attempt to pull off a flip, but the mirror starts shaking violently and shatters on the floor into a million pieces. Oops. Patience, Qin Ming, patience. Reflective surfaces. It's all about reflective surfaces. I grab a bowl of water and try the exact same trick. The water's surface shimmers, projecting an image of a legendary adult film star from overseas, striking an incredibly dramatic pose. I swipe that image away instantly, my face burning red. Keep it pure, Qin Ming. Clean thoughts only. I definitely didn't enjoy that for a single second. Nope. If water reflects, does that mean I can bend water too? I stare down at the bowl with the raw intensity of a man, trying to move mountains with pure willpower. But nothing. Just a couple of sad, pathetic ripples. I test windows, tiles, and the TV screen, and a clear pattern emerges. My power scales directly with how reflective the surface is. Mirrors, absolute, god-tier control. Water, just some minor ripples. Tiles, and the TV screen, basically zero feedback. On top of that, the illusions I summon get way weaker, the less reflective the material actually is. So I get full HD Sadako and zombie renders on a mirror, but it's a blurry, 144p mess on a TV screen? Fantastic. So my superpower makes me an elite, god tier, birthday party magician, but a trash tier fighter. Great. Very cool. Definitely going to dominate the battlefield with this. But wait. Is this the actual hard cap of my power? Or am I just skill-issued right now? I snatch up one of the broken mirror shards and bolt outside. I find a massive, watermelon-sized rock. Set it down and grip the shard tight. Taking a deep breath, a faint blue aura suddenly surges along the fractured edge. The tiny shard instantly feels insanely sharp. Like impossibly sharp. The kind of lethality, where just looking at it makes your skin crawl. Pure danger. Let's test this. With one quick slice, the rock gets cleanly cleaved. Perfectly smooth, 5 cm deep gash. Like a legendary katana did it. Not some random piece of trash from a bathroom mirror. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on, let him cook. This ability might actually be a certified cheat code. Alright, so apparently my mirror shards double as stealth daggers. Absolutely incredible. I could literally become a budget assassin, chucking mirrors and manipulating them mid-air, going full ninja mode on anyone who asks for it. My brain is already spiraling into a high-budget action movie fantasy. Hey, truly humble beginnings for a future MC legend. Only issue is I definitely need to go restock on mirrors. Can't exactly be a mirror ninja with one broken compact. That's just depressing. Cut to the evening. The streets are emptying out as people rush home for dinner. Meanwhile, deep in a sketchy alleyway, a man clad in black is bleeding out fast. His coat is completely drenched in crimson. He limps forward, spitting curses under his breath. That fat bastard was actually the Ghost Lord. If I don't patch this wound ASAP, I'm literal history. Meet Rennie. He's been lying low in this alley all day, because daylight means way too many witnesses. Now that night has fallen, he finally makes his move. Meanwhile, completely oblivious to all this anime drama, I'm just strolling home, swinging my grocery bags, humming a tune, and basically walking on sunshine. Boom, system unlocked. I officially have superpowers, life is absolutely GOAT, and I'm easily the luckiest teenager on the planet. Cue the massive foreshadowing. Turns out, I am catastrophically not the luckiest teenager alive. The exact millisecond I pull up to my building, this dark shadow ambushes me from the stairwell, and presses a freezing cold piece of metal straight against the back of my dome. Don't even twitch, this is a real piece. Bro, a literal gun to my skull out of nowhere. My brain couldn't even process what was happening. Before I was already completely cornered. All my grand delusions about becoming an unstoppable, god-tier superpowered legend, instantly deleted before I could even take step one. Panicking hard, I blurt out, "Bro, sir, I swear I don't have any cash on me today. Can I just Venmo you instead?" This absolute maniac, Rennie, was dead in the middle of a main villain monologue, and did not expect his victim to offer him mobile payment options. Like, imagine robbing someone at gunpoint, and they casually ask if you take Apple Pay. Shut up and open the damn door. Don't try to be a hero. I walk up the stairs stiff as a mannequin, my hands vibrating so violently that I can't even line my key up with the lock. The guy behind me is losing his absolute mind. I am literally bleeding out, and you're fumbling around. Like it's your first day ever having hands. The door finally pops open, we bust inside, and he slams it shut, yanking down every single curtain, cutting the lines and keeping that barrel aimed right at my forehead. He barks out, "Get me alcohol and bandages. Now!" I start tearing through drawers like my life depends on it, because it literally does, and somehow manifest alcohol, wraps, herbal meds, and even topical healing liquor. Shout out to Li Tao, my absolute legend of a soccer player roommate, who apparently stocks our apartment like a mini emergency room. God bless you, Li Tao. Your broken shins literally saved my life today. Ren immediately starts patching up his wound, slowly letting his guard down because I'm playing the part of a shivering, terrified little NPC perfectly. But plot twist, I'm actually not that pressed. Okay, obviously I'm slightly panicking, but my brain is already cooking up a plan. Because here's the thing. A bleeding gunman hiding out in a rundown New York neighborhood. No cameras, zero security, and barely anyone living in the building? This is no coincidence. The psycho picked this exact spot on purpose. And worse, I just spotted a bizarre marking on his hand. It looks exactly like the pattern from my own mirror flower system. which means this dude might actually possess a leaf pattern, too. Translation: this is no ordinary street criminal. I'm dealing with a straight-up superpowered psychopath. Rushing in blindly like an idiot will get me put in a body bag. Instantly. So, time to cook up a brilliant master plan. First, I need to confirm if that's a legit leaf pattern. And how do I do that? By touching it. Obviously, because subtlety has never been my strong suit. Let me help you out, big guy, I say, slowly sliding my hand toward his wrist. Like the world's least convincing nurse. Run Yi's eyes instantly flash with pure malice. The exact millisecond my fingers graze the pattern. Before I can even blink, his leg snaps out with terrifying speed. Whack! I go flying backward like a human ragdoll, smashing clean through the coffee table, rolling violently across the floor, and ending up in a heap, clutching my chest in absolute, 100% genuine agony. That kick was no joke. Any harder and my ribs would have been turned into confetti. But gritting through the blinding pain, I immediately pivot back into pitiful victim mode. Big guy, why would you kick me? I was just trying to treat your wounds. Meanwhile, Rennie is looking pale and furious, mostly because that sudden kick just ripped his injuries right back open. I told you, don't try anything funny. He raises his arm, and a literal handgun just materializes out of thin air, straight into his grip. Wait a second. I distinctly remember him setting that exact weapon down on the table earlier. I sneak a quick glance over. Yep, the table is completely bare. The gun is gone. So either this man is an actual wizard, or he just inadvertently confirmed something incredibly crucial about who he really is. Man, it's a good thing I didn't push my luck. That magic trick with the vanishing pistol tells me everything. This dude is, without a doubt, an awakened powerhouse. Fantastic. Love finding that out. While he's actively pointing said lethal weapon right at my face. An intense silence stretches between us for a few seconds. Ren-yi glares down at me, as I lie there shivering like a terrified little bunny. Seeing I'm totally harmless, he slowly lowers the gun. Yeah. He thinks I'm way too much of a coward to be a threat. He has zero clue. Don't come near me again, he warns, his voice turning dead cold. In his twisted mind, I'm nothing but a disposable pawn. And if a pawn acts up, you toss it in the trash. That's just basic math to a psycho like him. I'm literally sweating bullets, having barely dodged. Getting express shipped straight to the afterlife. Suddenly, my system mirror flashes in my head. With a brand new prompt, leaf pattern detected. Fantasist. Begin replication.
Y/N.
Replication progress. 0 out of 120 seconds. Fantasist. Now that is one hell of a title. But wait. If this dude can literally drag his fantasies straight into reality, why was he bleeding out in front of my apartment? Instead of just spawning his own medkit? Then it clicks. The ultimate plot twist. Maybe he can only materialize one item at a time. The second he summoned that gun, his bandages vanished. But then an even crazier realization hits me. If this guy is literally superpowered, and still got beaten to a bloody pulp, who did the beating? Another awakened powerhouse? That explosion at the Hyatt. The rapid gunfire. That crazy shadow swan-diving off the 38th floor. The puzzle pieces are finally snapping together. I need more intel before I make a reckless move. Meanwhile, Rinny finishes patching up his gnarly wounds and cautiously peeks through my blinds. He scans the street. You live alone? Yep. Where were you earlier? Grocery store. Where's your haul? I point directly at my 2 massive plastic bags. He ruthlessly digs through them, pauses, and stares at me like I'm an absolute psycho. Why the hell do you have so many mirrors? Showtime. Time for my Oscar-winning performance. I drop my voice, widening my eyes in pure terror. Look, man. This house, it's straight up cursed. The vibe shifts. His face instantly drops. Cursed? Like, actually haunted. I lean in, letting my voice tremble for maximum drama. I got this place dirt cheap because people died here. Multiple people. Then, I launch into an insane horror story about a family of 3. A brutal Christmas Eve massacre, a total psycho breaking in, slaughtering the parents, and literally skinning them alive right in front of their little girl. And just as he's about to carve up the kid next, the cops burst in and save her. Except, the kid completely shuts down, won't say a word, until out of nowhere, she starts chanting this deeply unsettling nursery rhyme about Christmas presents, singing about her parents morphing into Santa Claus, and how she's finally going to turn into Santa too. Rin visibly shudders as a heavy, icy chill suddenly floods the room. So, what happened next? I glance down at my mental status screen, where dark numbers are spiking hard, completely off the charts.
Rangi.
Soul energy. 6, 7, 9. Hey, you getting scared yet? Tough guy. See, by the next morning, the girl vanished, and they later uncovered her lifeless body. Her skin was halfway peeled off, with a bloody fruit knife resting right beside her. The twist? Only her fingerprints were on the blade. Wait, so, she skinned herself? Rennie blurts out, losing his cool before instantly catching himself. He immediately scowls, snapping, "You're completely making this up. There's no way someone can skin themselves." "Cut the mind games," he scoffs, sitting cross-legged on the couch to begin cultivating his energy, trying to play the unfazed, mature adult in the room. I don't say a word. Instead, I casually pull another mirror right out of my bag, mounting it squarely on the wall while muttering under my breath. Mirrors repel evil. Keep the bad vibes away. Nyan, sweetie. I am so sorry your entire family met such a horrific end. But please, I beg of you, don't come haunting me. I'm literally just an innocent bystander in all of this. This stunt absolutely shatters Run Yi's mental focus. Like, bro literally just dropped a terrifying ghost story, and now he's acting like he's the one targeted by the curse. And seriously, saying, "I'm just an innocent bystander. Don't come near me," is practically rolling out the red carpet for the ghost. Brilliant. Just shut up already, okay? As time ticks by, Rennie snaps his eyes open once more, pure irritation flashing across his face. That fat bastard. He curses internally. As it turns out, that obese villain's sinister underworld energy was left lingering inside him during their chaotic clash, and it's stubbornly sealing away a massive 80% of his total power. Even deep meditation isn't breaking the seal whatsoever. But then, he actually scans the room and completely freezes. The apartment has officially been transformed into a complete house of mirrors. There are over a dozen of them, in literally every single shape imaginable. We're talking round ones, square ones, you name it. He even slapped a Hello Kitty mirror on the wall. Seriously, it looks like a sketchy gift shop exploded in here. Why the hell do you have so many mirrors hung up everywhere? Meanwhile, I'm down on my knees aggressively scrubbing the floor tiles with a rag, sweating bullets like an absolute overachieving corporate slave, polishing that marble until it literally blinds you. I wipe my forehead, putting on my best innocent, clueless acting performance. Oh well, I heard mirrors ward off evil spirits, so I figured the more, the merrier, right? Renee's eye starts visibly twitching. Sure, using mirrors to ward off evil is a myth he's heard before, but the Hello Kitty one? That definitely feels like a personal attack. Also, quick side note, you are literally being held hostage right now, and you're this dedicated to deep cleaning the apartment? Do you just zero respect for the absolute gravity of this situation? This little man just stares at me with ice-cold eyes, before finally breaking the silence. Just behave yourself. Once I've rested up and recovered, I'm out of here. I won't hurt you. In fact, consider this your compensation. With a casual wave of his hand, a massive, solid gold bar materializes out of thin air. It's literally gleaming under the light, and I swallow hard, my eyes practically turning into dollar signs. Okay, this ability is incredibly shiny. I mean cool. As in, I absolutely need to steal this insane power for myself. But deep down, I already know how this game works. Ruthless guys like Renee don't just leave witnesses behind. The exact moment he's healed up, I'll be the very first loose end he decides to tie up permanent like. We'll see who actually ends up in a casket here. I plot internally, now scrubbing the floor with noticeably more violent aggression. Meanwhile, on a rooftop just a stone's throw away from the apartment, a massive, heavy-set silhouette stands with his hands locked behind his back. Scanning the entire area, he mutters, "Damn it, that slippery bastard managed to get away. My underworld tracking spell only covers this specific perimeter. How the hell am I supposed to track him down now?" He glares down at the massive maze of apartment complexes below, looking genuinely offended by the city's architectural layout. On the other side of the mountain, on the other side of the sea, there's a clan of little blue people. So lively and smart, they. Suddenly, an absurdly cheerful ringtone completely cuts off his humming. He reaches into his coat and flips open a prehistoric, Old school flip phone. Your Majesty. I completely lost his trail on the rooftop. On the other end, the big guy's boss sounds absolutely exhausted. How many times do I have to drill this into your head? Stop calling me Your Majesty. The hefty tracker just chuckles, but his tone instantly turns dead serious. Look, old John. My underworld network tracked him to a residential district. I'm terrified he's gonna take a hostage and start massacring innocent civilians. Turns out they can't lock down his exact coordinates. For another 26 hours, and our big guy is sweating bullets that Rin won't even survive that long before getting brutally murdered. But then, the boss casually drops an absolute bombshell. Something insane is brewing in the neighboring city. Those toxic tumors have already infested the area. Oh, and to top it all off, it looks like a second
Waken Pao Hao Tin.
just manifested in the exact same sector as the first one. Yep, that's me. Apparently, I am a walking statistical anomaly. Sweet. Cut back to my cursed mirror apartment, where the clock just struck midnight. Rin notices our place is the only unit with the lights blaring. It's a total dead giveaway, so he barks at me to kill the power. Then, he ice-cold dials a number. Change of plans, the Ghost Lord intercepted me. I took heavy damage, but I found a hideout to recuperate. Zhong. That catastrophic entity is about to breach. Copy that. I'm moving out shortly. Just by eavesdropping on this one call, I've pieced together so much intel. First, the Ghost Lord. Damn. What a terrifying title for the monster who beat this guy to a bloody pulp. And Zhong is literally the next city over. What the hell is breaching there? What kind of apocalypse are they plotting? But the grim reality that truly sinks in is this. He's openly discussing his master plan right in front of me. Like I'm a piece of literal furniture, which confirms my worst nightmare. The exact millisecond his wounds heal, I'm getting deleted. No witnesses, no loose ends left behind. It's time to stop hesitating. The very second Rin hangs up the phone, a crimson flash catches the corner of his eye, and he violently lunges off the couch. Who's there? He scans the pitch-black room in the dim moonlight and completely freezes. Reflected in the bedroom mirror stands a tiny, completely skinless little girl. Her body is a grotesque mess of raw, exposed meat fused into a shredded dress. One eyeball bulges out of her skull in a horrific stare, while the other socket is just a hollow, empty void. Except a non-stop stream of maggots is literally spilling out of it as her mouth stretches into a massive ear-to-ear smile. Yeah, I totally made Nionio up. I really committed to the bit, guys. Meanwhile, Rennie feels a jolt of pure terror. Shoots straight from his toes to his skull, his heart practically leaping out of his throat. Holy crap. That kid's ghost story was actually real. But our MC isn't exactly ordinary either. His aura flickers, a gun spawns out of thin air, and he just unloads 3 rounds. Straight into the glass. Not giving a single damn about the noise echoing across town. Cut to the big guy chilling in the dead of night. He suddenly snaps awake, ears twitching, as his eyes lock onto a specific direction. Found you. But there's zero hype in his voice. Gunshots mean things have gone seriously sideways. Even with most of his powers locked down, Ren he shouldn't need something as loud and basic as a firearm. Against a normal human, something is going down. He shifts into a streak of pitch-black shadow and rockets straight toward the noise. Meanwhile, he lets out a heavy breath, his face darkening. Those shots mean the big guy is en route. He can't stay here. He turns to bounce, and bam, the bloody little girl spawns in another mirror. Only this time, she's flanked by a man and a woman, both totally mangled. They're all smirking, completely mocking how helpless he is. Damn it, is this place legit haunted? Years of surviving the brutal underworld. And this is what finally rattles him. But then, wait. His brain finally clicks into gear. These mirrors, bought and hung up by that kid. The creepy ghost story, also told by that kid. And now ghosts magically show up on the exact same night? Way too convenient. That little punk is orchestrating this. The second he sees through the trick, the illusion instantly loses its fear factor. Now he's just pissed. He just wasted ammo and baited the big guy for absolutely nothing. But as he turns to hunt me down, the entire apartment suddenly plunges into total darkness. No moonlight through the windows, no light source whatsoever, just pure void black. His chest tightens. This kind of absolute blackout feels eerily identical to the Ghost Lord's domain. Wait, how the hell did that fat bastard get here so fast? No, hold up. He shakes his head. If the Ghost Lord actually pulled up, there's no way he'd be standing there without a scratch. This has to be that punk kid's doing, right? And just like that, I flex my power to shatter every single light in the entire apartment complex, plunging the entire place into absolute pitch-black darkness. Suddenly, out of nowhere in the shadows, music starts blasting. Follow me. Left hand, right hand. Slow motion, right hand. Left hand. Slow motion replay. Renee flinches hard, completely rattled, and unloads several rounds toward the noise. But the track doesn't even skip a beat. Oh, does this song bring you happiness? Have you fallen for me yet? It's just a speaker hidden somewhere. Turns out, the music isn't some ghost after all.
Sorry, Rene.
My bad. But right as he's trying to pinpoint my hidden speaker, something razor-sharp slices straight across his stomach. The absolute second that blade grazes his skin, Renee twists away like a lightning bolt, barely avoiding getting completely gutted. Clutching his bleeding wound, he drops flat to the deck. And honestly, thank God he did, because 2 more lethal projectiles whistle right over him, giving him a very close haircut. What the hell was that? His brain is racing at 1,000 miles an hour. He's finally figured out my entire master plan. First, the ghost distraction, then total blackout, then the loud music to mask my footsteps, and the deadly whoosh of my flying mirror shards. I know his exact coordinates, but he has absolutely no clue where I'm lurking. This right here, my friends, is a pitch-black jungle. And in this game, whoever makes the first move dies first. The music keeps blasting. Touch your nose. Blink your eyes. Wiggle your ears. Keep acting cool. The track is switching styles non-stop. I listen closely, but I can't hear a peep from him. Either he's completely dead or, knowing this guy, he's seen right through my strategy and is playing dead. On purpose. It's a total standoff. But I can play the waiting game forever and he can't. Because the Ghost Lord is closing in. And honestly, every single second he wastes playing hide and seek just clocks him closer to getting absolutely obliterated by a way worse threat. So, Rene decides to gamble it all. His crest flashes, and a blinding orb of light manifests right in his palm, instantly exposing every single dark corner of the room. Without missing a beat, he pulls off a desperate sideways dive. As 3 lethal, glinting projectiles streak right past him, and embed themselves deep into the concrete wall behind him. He spots them immediately. Yep, broken mirror shards. It's confirmed. So this punk's entire build revolves around mirrors, huh? But the sudden flash catches me dead to rights, crouching in the corner. The dude's reaction time is insane. He snuffs out the light with his left hand, while his right hand literally spawns a fully loaded submachine gun, aimed directly at my chest. Cue the rat-a-tata. I hit the deck, hitting a frantic tactical roll across the floor, as a hail of lead tears through the pitch-black room, with one bullet literally grazing the edge of my ear. Bro really just pulled out a whole SMG. Nah, that is crazy. That is straight-up cheating. I showed up ready for a stealthy knife fight, and this man brought literal military-grade hardware. Okay, think. I can't just keep dodging the spray forever, or I'm gonna end up looking like a human Swiss cheese. I blindly hurl a mirror shard straight into the darkness. Please, RNG gods, just this once, let me actually hit something. Suddenly, the deafening gunfire completely stops. Rene feels a sharp, agonizing pain rip through his thigh. Gritting his teeth, he tears the glass shard out of his flesh, blood instantly spraying down his leg, as his face drains of all color, turning pale as a ghost. Yeah, he is officially done playing around. If this match drags on for even 1 more minute, he's gonna bleed out to some nobody before the big boss even arrives. Imagine being a Tier 3 superpowered veteran, getting absolutely clowned on by a literal high schooler. The sheer disrespect hurts way worse than the actual wound. His crest flares up with an absolute vengeance. I barely even have time to catch my breath before his entire right arm erupts with volatile, deep blue electricity. The energy grows insanely dense, wrapping around his forearm like a cage. His hair stands completely on end, looking like he just personally tanked a lightning strike. And then, ominous black threads begin to weave out of the current, slowly creeping and twisting up his arm, manifesting into a literal pitch-black gauntlet that steadily crawls up toward his elbow, until he suddenly coughs up a mouthful of blood, and the corruption stops. He slowly turns back to me, looking completely wiped, pale as a ghost, but wearing this smug, psychotic grin like he's loving every second of this. Only 10% complete, but that's more than enough to put you down.
I'm literally speechless.
This isn't even cheap hacks anymore. This is straight up, final boss level villainy. And okay, as much as I hate to admit it, that demon arm looks ridiculously badass. But hey, two can play at the dramatic reveal game. I pull a pair of sunglasses out of absolute thin air, slide them on and snap my fingers. Instantly, every single mirror, window, and floor tile in the room explodes into a blinding, white-hot glare. It's like 100 tactical flashbangs detonating at once, turning this entire apartment into the surface of the sun. Oh yeah, baby. Since Rin Yi's eyes had fully dilated to adjust to the pitch black, his retinas get absolutely vaporized. This was my master plan all along. The darkness wasn't just to sneak around. It was the ultimate setup for this exact flashbang finisher. I actually tested this on myself earlier, and trust me, I am never doing that again. Genuinely traumatizing stuff. You want to play dirty with cheat codes? Fine, let's start by melting your eyeballs. Rin Yi collapses to his knees, screaming, as tears of blood stream down his face. The realization hits him instantly, he's permanently blind. And with the terrifying Ghost Lord already locking onto his exact location, his chances of making it out of here alive just dropped to zero. He is backed into a corner with absolutely nothing to lose. So naturally, he snaps. His demon arm begins to crackle with violent energy, condensing a sphere of pure black lightning in his palm that radiates absolute, suffocating dread. The TV, the computer, every piece of tech in the room shorts out and explodes. Loose papers start levitating off the desk, and static electricity arcs wildly off the walls. If you want to die that badly, he snarls, completely unhinged and out of his mind, then let's all go to hell together. Oh great. You have got to be kidding me. I mutter to myself, feeling the raw, chaotic energy of that black orb making every single hair on my body stand on end. No time to think. I sprint straight into the bathroom, rip the massive vanity mirror right off the wall, and charge out toward the balcony, as fast as my legs can humanly carry me. Behind me, that glowing orb swells up to the size of a massive walnut. Rennie starts hacking up a storm, coughing up blood mixed with straight-up black smoke. His hair bleaches white as his face completely hollows out. The dude is literally burning through his own life force at this point, completely consumed by whatever dark underworld energy is eating him alive from the inside out. He lets out a straight-up psychotic laugh and clenches his fist. Boom! A blinding white flash completely detonates across the night sky, followed by an absolute thunderclap of an explosion. Every single piece of furniture inside gets obliterated into toothpicks. You can literally see the shockwave tearing through the air, making the trees below shake violently. The old building's walls shatter wide open, and violent flames erupt right from the balcony, painting the entire horizon blood red. Cough, cough, cough. A charred, blackened figure stumbles his way up off the lawn. Yep, that's me. Right before the blast wave hit, I maxed out my mirror's durability to the absolute limit, and leaped straight off the balcony. Even though I managed to dodge the direct impact, though, man, my internals, they still feel like they just got put through a blender. I stare down at the shattered pieces of my emergency mirror, legitimately traumatized. 1 second slower, and it would have been an instant game over for me. But then, something catches my eye close by, and my eyes lock onto it instantly. It's Renee's severed right arm, just chilling on the ground. Turns out, Renee was standing dead center in his own blast radius. If his demonic arm hadn't shielded it, that limb would have been straight up vaporized into dust. His entire body is gone, his powers completely vanished with him, but this severed arm is somehow left perfectly intact. I scramble over and scoop it right up. Yeah, you heard that right. A literal severed arm. Just your totally normal, casual Tuesday activity. I slam my hand right against the pattern on its wrist. Leaf pattern detected. Fantasist system, begin replication. Yes/no, zero hesitation here. Smash that yes button. The absolute second I touch it, a system loading bar starts crawling forward. But man, that's when reality hits and my body finally revolts. Here I am, spooning a dead guy's severed arm, while aggressively throwing up my guts everywhere. Because newsflash, at the end of the day, I'm just a normal high schooler, who's never even harmed a fly, let alone bear-hugged, a literal blood-soaked limb that was attached to a living guy. Just minutes ago, the stench alone is absolutely killing me, but I refuse to let go. Just 2 minutes. I just need to survive for 2 minutes. I can tough out basically anything for 2 minutes, right? But right then, the temperature violently plummets. And a streak of pure darkness comes hurtling right at me, like a corrupted shooting star. The shadow morphs, condensing into this heavily built dude. My entire body goes numb. This is pure underworld energy. Great, another overpowered monster. Probably the exact same ghost lord who turned Rin-E into his personal human punching bag. But honestly, he's nothing like I imagined. Ugh. Missed him by a hair. The big guy grumbles, scanning the absolute wreckage and the fire raging upstairs. Then he spins around and completely freezes. Because right there is a filthy teenage kid, half kneeling in the dirt, clutching a severed arm while dry heaving, and shooting him these incredibly frantic, terrified looks. Look, this guy has clearly seen some wild stuff throughout his career, but this is a whole new level of bizarre. Kid, why on earth are you hugging that disgusting arm?
I'm terrified, he whimpered.
Wiping my mouth with my sleeve, looking completely deadpan. Holding on to stuff just gives me a sense of security. The big guy's face visibly twitches. Bro, if you're scared, hug a pillow. A severed, gory, human arm isn't exactly a normal emotional support item. Wait, you're the new leaf pattern user, aren't you? How the hell did someone this incredibly weak manage to completely destroy the fantasist? Inside, I completely panic. I never told anyone about that. Not even Rin. He actually figured it out. How does this dude know? My ultimate trump card, completely exposed in a single sentence. So, naturally, I activate maximum innocence mode. Mister, what are you even talking about? I'm just a totally normal, law-abiding citizen. The man rolls his eyes so hard I'm worried they'll pop right out of his skull. Drop the arm first, and lose that mirror shard hidden in your other hand, too. Normal citizen? Yeah, right, and I'm the Pope. Who are you trying to fool here? Kid. So yeah, I decide to drop both of them instantly. Super smooth, keeping it totally classy. I mean, if this monster could absolutely demolish Renee like that, trying to play him with lies is a certified death wish. But most importantly, that 2-minute countdown just hit 0. Relax, kid. I'm not the bad guy here, he says, scanning the horizon as distant silhouettes start closing in. We need to clear out fast. Let's take this conversation somewhere else. Which is literally the ultimate villain line of all time. But I follow him anyway because honestly, what choice do I have? I sneak a quick peek at my status screen, and my eyes instantly light up. Fantasist replication complete. Current level, level 1. The progress bar is maxed out, and this crazy swirling pattern is now locked into my replication slot. Renee's broken ability is officially mine. Cut to a literal steaming bathhouse. Water rippling, thick mist, coiling up to the ceiling and dripping back down in heavy, warm drops. Total peak relaxation vibes. Suddenly, glub, 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 huge bubbles burst from the deep end, and this massive, pale figure erupts straight out of the water. Turns out it's not a sea monster, just our guy, dramatically flipping his wet hair back and wiping his face. Ah, nothing beats a legendary soak. The big man groans, closing his eyes in pure bliss. He's living his best life while I'm sitting nearby, completely deadpan. So, your master plan for a secret meeting spot was a public bathhouse. Don't even start with me. He fires back, throwing a massive glare my way. Have you seen yourself? You're literally caked in dirt and blood. I couldn't even stand being downwind of you. I process this for a solid 2 seconds, then slowly point at the pool. And yet, you're actively drinking my bathwater right now. He instantly freezes, turning pale as a ghost. He scrambles out of that pool so violently, he triggers a literal tidal wave across the entire room. Bro, this guy is supposed to be the terrifying, legendary Ghost Lord? My entire faith in this world's power scaling is completely shattered. After several agonizing minutes of him dry heaving by the edge, swearing he'll never step foot in water again, he finally sparks up a cigarette, takes a slow drag, and sighs. All right, kid. Ask whatever you want. So, why were you drinking my bathwater? Can we please move past that? I catch his massive frame visibly flinch, before he glares at me again. Honestly, this is kind of hilarious. At least it's obvious this dude doesn't actually want to kill me. My mind is absolutely racing with a million questions, and I honestly don't even know where to start. So, what exactly is a leaf pattern? I finally ask. He just grins, turns around and proudly points straight at his own bare butt. Check it out. See this? My soul literally leaves my body. I am 1 microsecond away from jumping up and running out of this bathhouse forever. I did not sign up to deal with this level of freak. Oh wait, my bad, he says, shifting a bit. He points slightly higher right at the base of his tailbone. Right there. There it is, a small, pitch-black crescent moon mark. It looks exactly like the one on my chest. This is a leaf pattern, he says, turning back around. Now, you'll get a proper crash course on this once you hit the academy, but here's the TLDR version. Every single leaf pattern grants a unique, overpowered ability. Throughout history, there are 361 recorded patterns in total. They're ranked by threat level. C tier is mild, B tier is moderate, A tier is severe, and S tier is straight-up apocalyptic. I nod, trying to digest this crazy info dump, before asking, so if each pattern is one of a kind, does it just vanish forever when the user dies? Nope, he says, shaking his head. Within 1 to 24 hours after the host kicks the bucket, the pattern detaches itself from the body. It goes dormant for a bit, then eventually hunts down a new host. Could take a year, could take a millennium. There's no set schedule. But wait, something about his story isn't adding up. I freeze and retrace his words. Hold on a second. What do you mean? I'll learn this at school? My college entrance exam scores aren't even out yet. And since when? Does any normal university teach supernatural stuff? The big guy just beams at me,
Radiating pure, friendly warmth.
which honestly is 10 times more terrifying than if he was actually trying to look menacing. Gu Qinming, 18 years old, left at an orphanage back in '99. Raised there your whole life, dead average grades, part-time factory gig, clean record, and single for 18 straight years. He smirks, looking like the absolute biggest troll on earth. And yup, still a total virgin. Classic. Excuse me? My entire life history just got completely leaked. They literally dug up details I didn't even know existed. Somehow, they already knew about my new leaf crest, which I got like 2 days ago. Suddenly, he stands up, looks me dead in the eye, and drops a formal announcement. Gao Chiming, consider this your official notice. You've been accepted into the prestigious Gaoshan Academy. Expect your official acceptance letter in a couple of days. Oh, wow, okay. Shockingly enough, I barely even hesitate to say yes, because honestly, now that I actually possess cheat code powers, am I really supposed to just go back to a boring, completely ordinary life? Go to a mediocre college, get a dead-end job and scrape by on minimum wage forever? Every teenager secretly fantasizes about being the main character. And I'm no different. 18 years of being an absolute nobody? Yeah, I am officially done with that chapter. Plus, this guy and his underground organization clearly aren't the bad guys. They're obviously insanely powerful and well-connected, probably packed to the brim with all kinds of epic, high-tier superpowered individuals. Gaoshan Academy. Honestly, it has a nice ring to it. I let a small smirk slide, but purely out of curiosity. I ask, so, what would have happened if I said no? He just gives me this ominous, mysterious grin. Trust me, kid. You really don't want to know. My face instantly twitches in pure terror, as my brain immediately conjures up several extremely violent, mafia-style mental images. Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Totally fine.
So glad I signed up voluntarily. Anyway, he leans in, clearly dying to ask this the entire time. What exactly is your power? What kind of broken ability lets a level 1 noob absolutely demolish a tier 3 fantasist? I casually wave my hand, and the rippling surface of the pool suddenly lights up with images. Except, instead of showcasing a badass battle replay, it's literally just a lineup of stunningly gorgeous women striking extremely suggestive poses. We're talking cinematic quality, 4K premium content. The fat man just stares in dead silence, practically on the verge of getting a massive nosebleed. He starts muttering the names of adult actresses under his breath, like a true cultural connoisseur. Chiming. He breathes out, completely awestruck. Your power is absolutely magnificent. I roll my eyes so hard, they practically spin out of my head as I wave off the floating screens. Seeing my reaction, the fat man instantly deflates, but that familiar suspicion quickly creeps back into his eyes. Wait! Don't tell me. Did you lose focus because of that? And he literally exploded from sheer hype? I stare at him deadpan. Absolutely not, I reply. Though, okay, fine. Maybe for a split second while drafting the battle plan, that exact thought actually did cross my mind. Cut me some slack. I'm only human. Look, my actual ability allows me to manipulate physics on mirrored surfaces. And that includes dictating exactly how the broken shards move. Of course, I conveniently leave out the whole replication part. That overpowered trump card is staying locked away as my ultimate secret weapon. Thank you very much. The fat man nods slowly, but it's clear as day. He's still not buying it. There's no way this generic explanation covers how a level 1 rookie absolutely obliterated a tier 3 veteran. Still, he decides to shrug it off and pushes himself up. Time to move out. We've got a destination to hit. Where to? Asked Yun Yong. Meanwhile, miles away in the bustling city of Changzhou, violent thunder cracks through pitch-black clouds, unleashing a relentless torrential downpour over the entire metropolis. About 20 kilometers outside the chaotic city center, an ultra-luxurious lakeside estate sits eerily quiet amidst the raging storm. Inside the front security booth, a middle-aged guard is endlessly grumbling about the miserable weather. Beside him, his partner, a massive, buff security unit, just lounges back with a cigarette, perfectly content with life. Quit whining, man. This is the easiest gig ever. 10 grand a month just to chill and watch a gate? We could have it way worse. The first guard chuckles, his mind clearly drifting off to something scandalous. Yeah, fair point. But did you catch a glimpse of those girls who walked in earlier? Absolutely gorgeous. Way out of your league, bro. Just keep your eyes on the entrance. Suddenly, the buff guard's relaxed expression hardens. He squints out into the blinding sheets of rain, spotting a silhouette, standing dead still in a pitch-black raincoat, staring directly into their guard booth. Yo, what's up with that guy out there? Go check it out. The first guard just shrugs it off. Probably just some lost pedestrian or a curious passerby. The buff guard scoffs. Out here in the middle of nowhere? Nobody goes sightseeing around a private estate in a freaking typhoon. He grabs his heavy-duty electric baton, pops open a massive umbrella, and steps outside. Instantly, the fierce, howling storm swallows him whole. He barks out into the darkness, "Hey, what do you think you're doing here?" But as the figure steps closer, he realizes it's just a teenage kid. Except there's one major problem. This kid's face is completely frozen. His eyes are dead, totally devoid of any human emotion. The guard snaps, "Listen here, brat. This is restricted property. Beat it, or I'm throwing you out myself." But the boy doesn't even blink. He treats him like absolute air. He just keeps marching straight toward the main gate. And just like that, the guard loses it. He's furious that some random punk is disrespecting his authority, especially out here in the middle of nowhere with zero witnesses. He decides right then and there to teach this little punk a harsh lesson. He snaps on his electric stun baton, sparks flying, and swings it full force, aiming straight for the kid's head. Suddenly, the boy's left eye flashes a menacing gold. Clang! The baton completely freezes mid-air. It stops literally a single centimeter away from his face. It's locked in place by an invisible, impenetrable wall. No matter how much muscle the guard puts into it, it won't budge. The guard's face turns completely crimson from the sheer strain. Veins are literally popping out of his neck. But nothing happens. The weapon is utterly paralyzed in space. That's when the boy slowly turns his icy gaze. And the guard finally catches a clear glimpse of his eyes. Right there, a glowing golden sigil is swirling right inside the kid's iris. A ghost. This kid is a freaking ghost. Panic completely sets in as his mind races. A wave of pure, unadulterated dread surges from his toes straight to his brain. Slowly, the boy raises his right hand. Instantly, the heavy baton violently rips itself right out of the guard's grip. It levitates completely on its own, floating eerily in the pouring rain, crackling with dangerous, high-voltage electricity. Then, it rockets forward, slamming directly into the guard's chest. Thousands of volts course violently through his entire body. He convulses uncontrollably, screaming in pure agony. His face instantly drains of all color, until his eyes roll into the back of his head, and he drops like a sack of bricks. Meanwhile, back in the security booth, the second guard has just witnessed this entire nightmare unfold. He grabs his backup baton and rushes toward the door to help his partner. But the boy merely glances his way and twitches a single finger. Slam! The heavy booth door violently flies shut on its own, followed by a loud, ominous click as the deadbolt automatically seals him inside. He's a monster. A literal monster. The trapped guard shrieks, his eyes wide with absolute horror. He begins shaking violently from the sheer trauma of it all, before his brain completely short-circuits and he passes out cold. Our MC turns his gaze toward the massive iron gates. With a heavy, agonizing screech, those 10-foot-tall iron bars begin to twist and warp, as if crushed by the grip of an invisible giant. They rip open, leaving just enough room for a single person to slip inside. The golden glow in his eye slowly fades away, but his expression under that black raincoat remains absolutely ice-cold. Rain drips from his coat onto the pavement, making him look like a literal grim reaper stalking through the storm. Step by step, he begins his march toward the mansion. Now, we're seeing this strictly from the Raincoat Boy's POV, since Qian Ming isn't actually here to witness any of this. And trust me, guys, this sequence goes absolutely hard. The boy finally stops outside the master bedroom, and the sounds coming from inside make his blood boil with pure rage. These absolute scumbags. They all need to be erased. Boom! He kicks the massive door completely off its hinges. As the dust settles inside the room, we see an insanely lavish setup with a massive round bed, twisted trophies scattered all over the place, and walls plastered with photos of random women. The woman on the bed screams in terror and dives under the sheets, while the young noble on the bed, turning pale as a ghost, barks out, "Who the hell dares?" But he instantly freezes when he spots the kid. A black raincoat, rainwater pooling onto his expensive hardwood floor, and a left eye gleaming with a deadly gold light, staring right through him like he's already dead. "Security! Guards! Get in here! Don't bother! They're not coming," our MC replies, completely monotone. "Do you even know who I am? Do you know who my uncle is?" The guy tries to bluff his way out, but absolute panic sets in when he realizes 0 guards are showing up. Suddenly, a dagger flies right past the boy's side, stopping a literal millimeter away from the guy's eyeball. The dude almost passes out from pure, unadulterated terror, and a pretty nasty smell starts radiating from the bed. Yeah, he just pissed himself. Even the girl hiding under the blanket cringes in disgust. "Do you remember Lu Fong?" the boy asks, an overwhelming wave of murderous intent filling the entire room. Wait, I don't know her. I swear. What's your name?" It's Xiong Yunch." "You're lying." "I'm not, bro, I swear to God. That's literally my name. You can check my ID." The boy's mouth twitches slightly for a split second, before his face goes completely numb again. "Is Xiong Lungfeng your relative?" "Yeah. He's my uncle." "Oh." The boy replies utterly deadpan. "My bad, wrong guy. Bro literally just scared Xiong Yong half to death. And now he's just casually like, whoops, wrong house." Xiong Yong looks completely shell-shocked right now, as the knife just floats right back to the kid. Xiong Yong finally manages to breathe, but then the kid adds coldly, "You still deserve to die. Your entire family does." Like, are you kidding me right now? Xiong Yong wants to throw hands so badly, but obviously he's too terrified. But then, the kid pauses. "I promised someone I'd stop killing innocents." He shakes the rain off his coat and turns to leave, giving Xiong Yong one last icy glare that makes him visibly flinch. Finally, he's gone. Xiong Yong lets out a massive sigh of relief. "Oh, one more thing." The kid instantly teleports right back to the door. Do you know where Xiong Lingfeng went?" "I heard he's on a business trip in Yunga." Xiong Yong blabs immediately, not daring to play around this time. "Got it." And just like that, the black raincoat vanishes back into the storm. Useless intelligence network. A faint curse drifts through the pouring rain. Gao Chen's intel is always pure garbage. Cut back to our boy, Chun Ming, on the train. "Attention passengers. The train is about to depart. Next stop, Junjiang Station." The smooth announcement echoes through the cabin. As we pull away from the platform, by the window, it's just me and the big guy, Chui Pang, who has already reclined his seat all the way back and is snoring peacefully, looking like a massive beached whale on vacation. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there in a hoodie, holding a magazine completely upside down, pretending to read, like the world's most convincing intellectual. But in reality, my brain is fully focused on studying. The new mirror system updates in my head. Replicated skill. Fantasist. Manifest fantasy objects into the real world. Note 1. Manifestation power depends on your ability level. Note 2. Manifestation depends on how vivid your memory. or impression of the object actually is. Rule number 3. If your manifestation fails, it defaults to whatever's burned deepest into your mind. And here's a level 1 dev note. What are you waiting for? Go daydreams already, loser. Okay. But there are strict conditions. I can't summon anything that outclasses my current level, and I can't conjure up things I don't fully understand. But wait, Rin Yi's glowing orb and that terrifying demon arm? Definitely not normal. Everyday items. Which means once I level up, I could literally manifest insane fantasy-level gear. Seriously, that demon arm was cheat code levels of cool. I need one. Oh, and look at this, more system updates. Under the Soul Energy Visualization tab, I see Rin Yi's name next to a 5, a 7, a 6, over 20 entries in total, stacking up to nearly 200 soul energy points. But the text colors are all over the place. Most are basic black, some are red, and then there's this one single deep crimson entry that hooked me a massive 50 points all on its own. Thinking back on it, the black entries popped up whenever I made him feel a flicker of fear. So the red ones,
Definiteli pure rage.
makes perfect sense considering how absolutely livid Rin Yi got. And that final deep crimson spike? That had to be his soul, ripping out of his body the exact moment he kicked the bucket. But looking at my progress bar, which is barely 1/5 full, I can only sigh. I went through a whole life-or-death superpowered battle, and I'm only at a measly 20%. At this rate, grinding for a level up is going to take a literal eternity. I snap out of the mirror mind space and give Chui Pang a nudge. He groans, squirming around a bit, before finally blinking his eyes open. Are we there yet? Yep. He yawns, taking a lazy glance out the window, before suddenly remembering something. Oh right, your official acceptance letter is already waiting for you over in Junjiang. Make sure to go grab it yourself once we roll in. I nod, but my gut is screaming at me that something massive is brewing in Junjiang, and it's not just about us. Apparently, Rin Yi's shady organization is hunting for something in this city too. What is actually going down here? Is there really some crazy secret hidden in this place? And whatever, no use stressing over it. I'm still a complete noob in this world anyway. Let the high tiers deal with the high tier threats. Hey! What does your school actually even do? I ask him, suddenly realizing that I literally know absolutely nothing about the academy I'm heading to. Do they train students to become vigilante heroes or something? Not you guys, it's us. Chui Pang corrects me, aggressively rolling his eyes. Gaochen Academy exists for one sole purpose: protection. We keep the peace. Well, kinda. But definitely not how you're picturing it. We aren't out here hunting down rogue superpowered villains. We're preparing to defend against a full-scale invasion. An invasion from a specific group of people or things. Suddenly, a dangerous flicker flashes in his eyes. It's pure, unadulterated rage, and his fists clench so hard that the temperature inside the entire train cabin instantly plummets. I swallow hard, feeling the sudden, suffocating tension. Defend against what exactly? He catches himself, taking a slow, deep breath until the icy chill finally fades. He looks back at me with an intense seriousness that I've never seen from him before. It's way too early for you to know the details. Just understand this one thing. Protection is the entire reason we even exist. It's the sole reason leaf patterns exist in the first place. And it's a cause absolutely worth dying for. I nod, only half comprehending what he means. What is the true purpose of these leaf patterns? And what terrifying threat is Gaochen actually shielding humanity from? Right then, the train screeches to a halt. Passengers immediately grab their bags, shuffling into lines to get off. Chui Pang blends into the crowd with his luggage, and that's when something catches my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, deeply carved into the small, fold-out tray table that Chui Pang had been using, whether left on purpose or as an accidental slip of raw power from his intense emotional outburst earlier, is a single, small character. I squint at it closely. It's a character that absolutely everyone knows. Now arriving at Neijuang Station. Please gather your belongings and exit quickly. Head straight to the hotel and stay there once you check in. I've got a mission to handle. Chui Pang barks, dragging his luggage away. In an emergency, call this number. If you can't reach me, track me down in Jinshan. Also, the location to pick up your acceptance letter is written on this paper. Stay alert. Things are getting seriously dangerous in this city right now. So seriously, don't go wandering off. He slides over a keycard and a scrap of paper. Wait, you're not crashing at the hotel too? I ask, making him sigh and shake his head. Things are getting crazy out here. I'm buried in work, so I might be MIA for a bit. The moment we hit the station exit, he stops dead in his tracks and checks his watch. It's like he's waiting on cue. This girl is literally never on time. He mutters under his breath. After 10 brutal minutes of waiting in the packed station, a deep, aggressive engine roar echoes from the distance. Out of nowhere, a crimson Ferrari comes blazing in, looking like a literal streak of red lightning. Dust is flying everywhere, and music is absolutely blasting from the open top. Talk about making a grand entrance. The tires, absolutely, shred the pavement as the car drifts into a flawless arc. It screeches to a halt just inches from my terrified face. A stunning blonde steps out, rocking a tall, insanely curvy frame wrapped in sleek leather, with dark shades, perched on a face that belongs on a K-drama billboard. Bro, half the station literally stops functioning. You can actually hear the collective gulps in the crowd. My bad, Director Chue. Looks like I'm running late, she says, flashing a playful grin that instantly makes every guy nearby weak in the knees. Whatever, I'm used to it by now. Chue Peng sighs, brushing it off with a wave. And who's the newbie? She asks, catching me staring at her like a total idiot. This is Chi Ming. Chue Peng introduces, patting my shoulder, our newest student, and Chi Ming. Meet your senior, Park Jimin from Korea. I just blink, trying to process all of this. It's an honor to meet you, senior. I stammer out, giving her a stiff, robotic bow. Park Jimin smoothly pulls off her sunglasses, her eyes crinkling with amusement as she sizes me up. After a tense beat, she breaks into a dazzling smile and extends her hand. Welcome to Gao Cheng, little junior. If anyone gives you crap at school, just drop my name. Though, honestly, there aren't exactly many of us there anyway. My face immediately turns bright red as I stiffly shake her hand. Her grip is soft, warm, and honestly, super distracting. That's when the realization hits me. This is literally the first time I've ever held hands with a girl. And of course, it's in public, right in front of an audience. Yep, real smooth. Completely normal human reaction here. Definitely not screaming for help on the inside. Alright, Jimin. Stop teasing the poor guy. We actually have work to do. Chue Peng finally cuts in, clearly noticing my internal crisis. She nods in agreement, and the two of them hop into the sports car. Wait. Hold on a second. That's a two-seater. A sudden, sinking feeling creeps up my spine. There's no room for me? I blurt out. Chue Peng just gives me an absolutely diabolical grin. Whoever said you were riding with us? The address is right there on the card. Take the bus, kid. Jimin takes one look at my utterly devastated, betrayed expression and absolutely loses it. She waves goodbye cheerfully as the engine roars back to life, and the car tears off, leaving me in a cloud of exhaust. I'm just standing there, watching their taillights fade away, completely windblown and emotionally abandoned on the curb. Oh yeah. Highly dangerous situation, my foot. The city is supposedly crawling with enemies. But sure. You guys just wanted an excuse to ditch me and go joyriding. I mutter bitterly to myself. Fine. It is what it is. I glance down at the keycard. It's a sleek black and gold VIP card, with crystal embossed lettering for the luxurious Fuxalai Hotel, room 2101. Meanwhile, inside the speeding Ferrari, that new junior is actually pretty hilarious. It's been a minute since we got a fresh face around here, Jimin says with a smirk. With the convertible top now closed, and the music turned down, Chue Peng nods. The kid's got potential. But what's our current status? Her playful expression instantly turns dead serious. It's not looking good. Our intel confirms Shangxia is bringing over 200 thugs this time. A lot of them are heavily armed, including 3 elite executives. And the puppeteer is already en route. Cowards. Always hiding in the shadows. Chue Peng growls, her face darkening with anger. Our vanguard clashed with them a couple of days ago. And Uni got seriously hurt, she adds, furious anger flashing in her eyes. Like a literal god is about to break through. And these clowns are still out here causing absolute chaos. Well, since I pulled up with this much main character energy, they definitely know I'm on the field now. which means they'll probably try to back off a bit. But it doesn't matter how careful they play it. Because now that I'm personally stepping in, not a single one of them is leaving this place alive. Chui Pang's voice drops to a whisper. Pure, ice-cold confidence radiating off him like a heat wave. His eyes flick toward the window, blazing with a sudden flash of unadulterated killing intent. Cut back to yours truly, staring up at this mind-blowingly massive luxury hotel tower. And okay, I am genuinely flexing for them. Gauchin Academy is clearly loaded, we're talking Ferraris. And 5-star hotels. When do I get to start living this high life? But first, after an entire hour of brutal bus-induced motion sickness, where I seriously almost lost my lunch 3 separate times, and cursed Chui Pang's entire lineage with every single bump, I finally pull up to the elite Fuxalai Hotel. I swagger across the ultra-fancy lobby, smash the elevator button for the 21st floor, and my ears straight up pop from how insanely fast this thing rockets upward. 21st floor. A smooth AI voice chimes as the doors slide open. There are only 6 exclusive rooms on this entire floor, and I spot mine, room 2101, all the way at the end of the hall. But just as I'm about to swipe my keycard, the door to 2102 right next to me swings wide open. I turn around and completely freeze in my tracks. Out steps this girl, petite, but with stunning silver hair, cascading all the way down to her waist, looking like a literal waterfall of pure moonlight. Now, I've seen girls with dyed silver hair before, sure, but this looks completely natural and impossibly silk smooth. Like she was just flawlessly born this way. She catches me staring at her, and glances slightly in my direction. My breath instantly hitches, and my heart skips a literal beat. Porcelain skin with a face that looks sculpted from ice, like a masterpiece heaven personally crafted, and dropped straight onto earth. Bro, she is basically a silver-haired elf, plucked straight out of a high fantasy painting. And she is completely short-circuiting my last 2 brain cells. Then, she hits me with a look that is ice-cold and totally dismissive. And then she just cold shoulders me and walks off. But wait, right behind her another figure steps out. It's an older woman, absolutely regal and icy cold. She has that flawless beauty that completely defies time. And she's radiating an aura that I can only describe, after way too much overthinking, as pure, unadulterated authority. Like literal royalty looking down on a peasant. And yep, she notices me too. Her eyebrow arches with instant curiosity. Oh man, under that older woman's intense gaze, my entire body breaks out in massive goosebumps. I instantly tear my eyes away, panicking as I fumble the keycard into the door slot, practically diving inside to escape. Quick third-person perspective shift here, since this plays out right after Qian Ming slams his door shut. The girl asks her master if there's something wrong with him. The woman just quietly shakes her head, throws one last lingering glance at his door, and walks away. Meanwhile, I'm glued to the peephole until they're gone, finally letting out the breath I was holding. Today has been absolutely unhinged, I mutter to myself. But then, I finally turn around to look at the room, and my jaw literally hits the floor. This is, holy crap, a presidential suite. Opulent European furniture everywhere, a wine cabinet stocked with bottles that easily cost more than my entire life savings, a private home theater, a bathtub the size of a swimming pool. They even have an actual Xbox setup. Do Gauchin employees seriously live like royalty? Whenever they're on business trips, I stand by the massive floor-to-ceiling window, looking out over a breathtaking view of Yongjiang, and suddenly joining Gauchin Academy is looking real good. I spend the next hour running around, touching everything and having the absolute time of my life. Seriously, my broke orphan energy, the kind that used to share a cheap 3-star room with Li Tao, is activated to the absolute max right now. Eventually, I flop onto the massive, round bed and close my eyes in pure bliss. But wait, I still haven't actually tested my fantasist skill yet. I sit straight up, focus my mind, and try summoning something simple and familiar, like my old-school backpack. Suddenly, a heavy weight drops straight into my arms. I snap my eyes open, and boom. There it is. Summoning my backpack worked like an absolute charm. Honestly, probably because I know this thing inside and out. After years of surviving the absolute nightmare of high school, now I'm just playing around. Pens, pillows, even a desk lamp. With every new object I summon, the previous one instantly vanishes. Exactly as I predicted, I can only pull one item at a time max. But then, A wild thought creeps into my mind and refuses to leave. Could I actually summon the demon arm? I know it's a massive long shot, but I have to try. I close my eyes, visualizing every single terrifying detail of it. Yet when I look down, it's not the demon arm at all. It's a single blue rose. I freeze completely, staring at it like it's a tiny, tragic tombstone. Out of everything, this is what my subconscious is clinging to. A sudden, heavy ache tightens in my chest. Every single memory from a few days ago comes flooding back. And man, it feels like a whole lifetime ago, even though it literally just happened. But I force the pain down. Deep down, I already know the truth. The exact second I chose to leave with Chue Pang, my chance at a normal life slammed shut forever. She and I belong to completely different worlds now. There's no point crying over something that was never truly mine to begin with. I shake off the sadness and pull out the crumpled note from my pocket. Phone number on the front, an address scribbled on the back. Zongza Road, Chili Alley, number 43. I turn to leave but instantly freeze. I double back, grabbing 3 compact mirrors from my bag and stuffing them into my pocket. Hey, better safe than sorry. The door clicks shut behind me, leaving the room in total silence. It's evening now, and a soft, amber glow washes over the streets. The sidewalks are absolutely packed, and traffic is a bumper-to-bumper nightmare of blaring horns. Eventually, I spot the opening of the alleyway and check the sign. Chili Alley. Yep, this is the place. I head inside, keeping a close count of the house numbers. Man, this neighborhood is ancient. The gray brick walls are literally crumbling apart, with thick vines choking the buildings. Most of the shops are completely abandoned, their rusted shutters covered in moss. There's barely a soul around, and the entire alley feels eerie, forgotten, and completely dead. In the fading twilight, I freeze right in front of some sketchy shop. The rusted metal numbers on the sign are barely readable. It's number 43, and the door is locked tight. There's a thick cloth covering the glass, but this eerie pink light is glowing faintly from the inside. And right next to the door frame, massive bold red letters literally spell out adult, wellness, and intimate products. A wave of pure, unadulterated embarrassment hits me all at once. My face immediately drops into a flat expression of sheer rage. I swear, I am going to throw hands with that fat bastard. Why on earth is my official academy acceptance letter inside an adult store? Seriously, at this point, I am genuinely considering turning right back around and walking away forever. But after a brutal internal battle with my pride, I swallow my dignity and push the door open. Ding dong. The bell chimes, and this incredibly weird smell instantly hits my nose. And then I get a full look at the place. It's completely bathed in hot pink. Neon lighting with a sketchy little counter right in the center, and rusty metal shelves lining both walls, absolutely packed to the brim with items I am definitely not allowed to describe on YouTube. Yep, this is literally just a straight-up adult novelty shop. Awesome. Fantastic. Absolutely love this journey for me. I'm literally about to turn around and bolt, when this old guy suddenly pops out from the back door, fanning himself while wearing a stained white tank top. Hey there, kid. Looking for something special? We've got it all in here. Satisfaction guaranteed. His voice literally booms with way too much enthusiasm, and there is a highly suspicious wink in his tone. My entire face flushes bright red. No, I'm not. I'm just here to pick up my acceptance letter. God, I want to facepalm so hard right now. Who in their right mind is going to believe an excuse like that in a shop like this? Oh, the old man raises an eyebrow, scanning me up and down. Then, he reaches under the counter and pulls out 2 packages. What's the name? Ji Chenming. Quickly nod. Yeah, that's me. All right, here you go. He puts on some reading glasses, double-checks the label, and hands one of them over to me. I still can't believe this is actually happening. They literally left official academy documents in a back alley adult store. Like, what kind of shady academy is this anyway? Swallowing my complaints, I grab the package. Good kid. Study hard out there. The old man says, giving my shoulder a heavy pat. And hey, feel free to swing by anytime you need something. I'll hook you up with a sweet discount. He adds, giving me a massive wink, flashing the most dangerously suggestive smirk humanly possible, heavy-handedly hinting at things I absolutely refuse to acknowledge. TTH. Thank you, sir. I barely managed to squeak out, completely dying inside. This is so incredibly cringe. I literally want to evaporate right now. But right as I turn to make my escape, the door chime rings out. We both spin around, and standing there is an insanely sharp-featured, handsome guy walking in. He scans the sketchy shop, without his icy, deadpan expression shifting even a millimeter. Okay, respect where respect is due. This dude walked into this absolute fever dream and didn't even flinch. An absolute legend. I'm here to pick up my acceptance letter, the boy says, totally monotone. The old man perks up, raising an eyebrow. Name's Zhang Fan. The old man slides the second package across the counter, keeping his eyes intensely locked on Zhang Fan's left eye the entire time. Such a rare, monstrous talent, he mutters under his breath. Watching this unfold, my brain instantly starts firing off questions. Wait, is this guy a new Gotchin student too? Without missing a beat, Zhang Fan grabs his package, gives it a quick double-check, and ghosts right out of the shop without uttering another word. Sheesh, talk about ice-cold. This guy radiates major. Do not cross this line energy. But since I have zero self-preservation and terminal curiosity, I follow him anyway. Yo, are you a new Gotchin student as well? I say, jogging to catch up. He glances my way, gives a single nod. Dope. Then we're classmates. I enthusiastically thrust my hand out for a shake.
I'm Geo Chinming.
He pauses, staring at my hand, clearly questioning every single life choice that led to this moment. But he ultimately relents and shakes it. Zhang Fan. And just like that, he resumes walking. Zero backward glances. Zhang Fan. Now that's a solid, badass-sounding name. I mused to myself. So, you've got that leaf mark on your hand too, right? Yeah. How much do you actually know about Gotchin? Not much. So where are you crashing? I keep peppering him with a rapid-fire barrage of questions, radiating pure, unfiltered golden retriever energy, and completely ignoring every obvious red flag telling me to back off. Suddenly, he stops dead in his tracks, turns, and locks eyes with me. You need to stop following me. Where I'm headed is incredibly dangerous. Welp, fair enough. I let out a sigh and freeze in my tracks. Guess I won't be squeezing any more intel out of this edgelord today. But seriously, where the hell is this guy even going? I can only watch as he completely vanishes into the distance, leaving me totally lost in thought. Meanwhile, downtown, a massive skyscraper, covered entirely in sleek, reflective glass, looms heavily over the entire financial district, glowing under the blinding sun like a giant mirror. Right at the top, inside the Qing Yuan Group headquarters, deep within a secure conference room, a dude wearing a terrifying, dark blue demon mask walks right in. The blood-red fangs painted across his face are straight-up nightmare fuel. You're late. Chang Liang snaps. Another masked player is already chilling in his seat, his own face covered by a mysterious, six-pointed star. The sorcerer. This is a high-level, three-person strategy meeting. So who cares about a little tardiness? Qing Liao bites back. Suddenly, a third figure emerges. A gorgeous woman wearing a rose-patterned mask slinks on over, slowly dragging a single finger right across Qing Liao's chest, with pure, sultry, calculated confidence. Oh, come on. Don't be so mean to the new kid, sorcerer. Just look at those muscles. I might actually lose control. But Qing Liang violently grabs her by the wrist. Touch me again with those filthy hands, flower ghost, and I will literally hack them off. Oh, please try me. Her playful tone instantly goes ice-cold, as a suffocating, murderous intent floods the entire room. Enough! The sorcerer barks, slamming his hands down and standing up. The boss didn't send you two here to tear each other apart. Let's get this briefing started. The higher-up envoy is arriving any minute. Both of them instantly shut up and take their seats, as the sorcerer aggressively unrolls a massive map, viciously circling a specific location in deep red. According to headquarters' precise calculations, that absolute abomination's awakening point is right here. Flower Ghost tilts her head, looking closely. Wait, isn't there a temple sitting on that spot? The Jin Shan Temple, exactly. It was heavily fortified by an ancient, legendary powerhouse, to explicitly harvest the mystical dragon vein, and manipulate the raw spiritual energy of the entire Jiangnan region, all for the sole purpose of sealing that monster away. Our rivals are already erecting massive defensive barriers near Jinshan, which means we need a coordinated, two-pronged attack. First up, we need a massive, chaotic distraction right in the city center. Qing Miao, that's your job. Qing Miao instantly scoffs at the plan. Why not just deploy our mindless, low-level thugs to handle that garbage? I am definitely not wasting my time on something. This basic flower ghost just smirks with pure arrogance. Ugh. Because you're literally the weakest link here, sweetie. A measly tier 2? Going to Jin Shan would just make you a free snack for them. Qing Liang's rage spikes straight through the roof. Woman, are you actively trying to catch these hands? Boom. The sorcerer slams the table with insane force, shutting both of them up instantly. The next person who starts throwing shade gets thrown out. Understood. He clears his throat and keeps laying out the plan. I'll handle Jin Shan by myself. Flower Ghost, grab some goons and lock down this perimeter. Qing Yu and Heavy Industries. You're holding down the most critical part of our operation. Guard it with your life. Fine. Got it? She huffs, rolling her eyes. Qing Yao frowns, deeply worried. But wait. I heard the Ghost Lord actually showed up this time. Can the three of us even handle a monster like him? Before the sorcerer can even answer, a terrifyingly deep voice echoes from the shadows. The Ghost Lord? Leave that fraud to me. All three snap their heads around. A man wearing a creepy white crying mask stands in the doorway, radiating an aura so suffocatingly heavy it's hard to even breathe. Instantly, one legendary name flashes through all of their minds. At the exact same time, the puppeteer, cut back to me wandering the dark city streets, munching on a cheap street pancake. And honestly, it's not because I love this food, it's because Chui Peng completely ghosted me. Without leaving me a single cent. All I got was a basic hotel key and a lousy note. I literally dug through my entire backpack and found exactly 7 kwai, barely enough for one sad pancake. This absolute unit drags me all the way out here, and then completely abandons me to fend for myself. I genuinely feel like I got smooth-talked into running away, with someone who instantly regretted their life choices. But while I'm having a total internal meltdown, a squad of motorcycles roars past me like lightning, blasting a massive puddle directly onto my dinner. I just blink. Takes me a solid half-second to even process the disrespect. Excuse me? That was my last $7. That was my entire meal. You just completely ruined the only thing keeping me from actual starvation out here. If that fat man doesn't get his act together and come back soon, I am quite literally going to starve to death on these streets. Bro, where is the basic human decency? Yo, you think you got guts? Get back here. I scream at the top of my lungs, aggressively flipping them the double bird, as their motorcycles tear off into the distance. But wait. The bike suddenly screech to a halt. They huddle up, and immediately pull a U-turn, gunning it straight back to me. Hold up. They actually heard me from all the way over there. As they close the distance, I instantly pivot and sprint. But it takes them literally 3 seconds to track me down, drifting smoothly to completely block my path. This horse-faced thug hops off his bike, giving me the ultimate death stare. Hey kid, were you the one talking trash just now? Oh, sorry gentlemen. I have no idea what you're talking about. I blink innocently, looking like the poster child of pure, blameless virtue. Boss, it's 100% him. I distinctly heard some punk calling us cowards. Snarls this dude with bleached blonde hair, sounding exactly like a nasally duck. But another guy, built like a brick house and covered in ink, hesitates. Maybe we should just let it slide, boss. Remember that monster of a kid from this afternoon? He literally soloed over 80 of our guys. Honestly, that was pure nightmare fuel. Just seeing teenagers right now gives me the literal chills. Suddenly, Zhang Fan's cold, emotionless face flashes right through my mind. And as if possessed by some chaotic demon, I blurt out, just a wild guess here, gentlemen. Was this guy insanely handsome? Had an icy, badass vibe? And talked like he was begging you to fight him? Instantly, all three of them whip around, their jaws hitting the floor as the tatted guy starts visibly shaking. See, I told you this kid was built different. What the hell is your connection to that monster? The long-faced thug asks, suddenly getting extremely defensive. Oh, him? He's my boss, I announce, puffing my chest all the way out. Maximum confidence, absolutely zero shame. All three gasp in unison, exchanging looks of pure terror. Blonde hair whips out a walkie-talkie, faster than anyone I've ever seen in my life, screaming into it with that screechy duck voice. We found his accomplice. I repeat, we just found the target's partner. We're right across from China Mobile on Guanxin Street. Back up. Get over here right now, copy? We're already hot on the kids' heels. Mountain Park is sending backup your way. I repeat, backup is en route to you. My face is literally twitching out of control right now. I did not expect that tiny lie to escalate into a full-scale. Gangva. 3 of these thugs surround me, closing in fast, cautiously whipping out a heavy steel pipe. Brass knuckles? And... is that a golf club? Okay, this just got way out of hand. Look, I'm no John Wick. I can't solo a mini-army by myself. But screw it, we're already past the point of no return. I launch a mirror straight at them. It hovers midair, slowly spinning. And boom! A blinding golden flash erupts from it. Ah, yeah, damn. My eyes. Oh my god. What the hell is that? And while they're completely blinded and screaming in pain, I manifest a massive wooden club out of thin air, and go absolute goblin mode, whacking them left and right. After a highly satisfying few seconds, all 3 goons are wrecked on the asphalt, clutching their heads and rolling around in agony. Tattoo guy's tears and snot are literally smeared all over my club. I stare at it, completely grossed out, and immediately dissolve the weapon away. But then I hear it, the deafening roar of dozens more motorcycle engines, closing in fast, a literal horde of angry bikers, weapons raised high, faces looking ready for murder. My hair stands dead on end. I hijack the nearest abandoned bike, and gun the throttle straight toward Boulder Mountain. Gene Fan, my brave, totally imaginary boss, please save my life right now. In my mind, this guy I've only known for 2 minutes has officially become a legendary hero. I floor the gas harder. My speed is seriously rivaling a sports car now. But the swarm trailing behind me just keeps growing. More and more riders are joining the hunt. It's a good thing we're out in the sticks. Otherwise, traffic cops would be swarming me too. Damn it all. Since when did Zhongzhong become the biker gang capital of China? Suddenly, up ahead, more bikers cut out from a side street, attempting to box me in completely. My chest pattern glows, and a mirror whips right out of my pocket, blasting a flash of blinding golden light straight into their eyes. Take that, losers. What the hell is that? I can't see a single thing. Tires screech violently as bikes collide into a massive pileup. Riders are sent flying through the air. Absolutely beautiful. Man, this feels amazing. Time to turn it up. I summon my remaining 2 mirrors. Now, 3 mirrors are orbiting me like a mini solar system, blasting a blinding golden radiance in every single direction. Mom, where are my sunglasses? Someone get me sunglasses. It's like looking directly into the sun. My eyes. Oh god, my E. Yes. At this point, I'm basically a human comet tearing through the night. The remaining biker mobs are suddenly keeping a very respectful and very terrified distance behind me. But right as I finally start to relax, a horrifying realization hits me like a truck. Wait, we're heading straight for Baotai Mountain. Meanwhile, over at Qingyu Heavy Industries, the sorcerer's phone begins to buzz. He picks it up. Speak. What is it? We located the kid. Understood. He hangs up, burying his face in his hand, deep in thought. What's the matter? Flower Ghost chimes in. Are those thugs causing trouble again? The sorcerer sighs, his voice thick with utter confusion. Apparently, some random kid just stormed their hideout, absolutely wrecked half of them. And now a massive brawl is breaking out, right near Baotai Mountain. Flower Ghost bursts out laughing, practically shaking. What a bunch of absolute losers. Qing Liao scoffs as well. 200 guys can't handle 1 kid? Don't those idiots have guns? The sorcerer glares at him like he's looking at a complete moron. Use guns? The exact second gunfire breaks out. This stops being a petty gang scuffle and turns into a full-scale terrorist attack. Our grand plan hasn't even started yet, and we cannot afford any complications. Qing Liao, get your ass over to Baotai Mountain. Retrieve the kid quietly. No noise, no drama. Qing Liao's face instantly darkens, sheer fury simmering right behind his eyes. Sending me to fetch a single kid? The disrespect is unreal. The moment I hit Tier 3, I am slaughtering every single one of you. He clenches his fist, scoffs, and storms out of the room. So, what does this kid look like? Asks a low, chilling voice from the corner. It's the puppeteer, leaning casually by the window, the cold moonlight illuminating his eerie, crying white face mask. The sorcerer pauses, locked in deep thought. Word is, His left eye burns with a golden light. Sounds like a leaf pattern user to me. Though his actual ability remains a mystery. And why exactly did you hide this from Qing Liao? Flower Ghost asks, a mocking smirk playing on his lips. Edgy new recruits are nothing but a liability. The sorcerer responds coldly, his mask reflecting a chilling gleam under the lights. A left eye glowing pure gold. Suddenly, the pieces click together for the puppeteer. He wheels around toward the window, a sinister grin spreading beneath his white porcelain mask. Could it really be him? Meanwhile, back to our MC. Bro, I am straight up suffering. My bike is running on absolute fumes. And this massive horde on my tail isn't thinning out at all. If I keep this up, I'm about to get jumped by an entire army. But luckily, I remember looking out from my hotel window earlier and spotting a mountain topped with a distinct pagoda silhouette. Turns out, my one actual cheat code in life is having an elite sense of direction. Because right there, right on cue, is the exact mountain and pagoda outline. I ditch my ride at the base and start sprinting up the stone steps. Behind me, over 80 bikes screech to a violent halt, and an entire army of absolute thugs pours out, brandishing every lethal weapon imaginable. He went up the mountain, one guy yells, pointing. Look at him run, like a stray dog fleeing for his life. The idiot doesn't know when to give up, sneers a wiry thug, slickly spinning a butterfly knife. Everyone, charge. Nobody goes home until we tear that little bastard apart. The entire mob roars, surging up the steps like a tidal wave. This has officially turned into a war of attrition. And let's be real, my stamina bar has always been tragic. The gap between us is closing at a terrifying speed, fueled by their pure, unadulterated rage and adrenaline. Just as I'm about to completely lose hope, the endless stone stairs finally hit a dead end. But right there at the park entrance stands yet another massive wall of bikers, easily double the size of the mob hot on my heels. Yet, standing right in front of them, amidst a literal pile of groaning, twitching bodies of defeated thugs, who are all clutching their heads and stomachs in agony, is just one handsome teenage boy. It's Zhang Fan, standing tall under the moonlight, with his left eye glowing brilliantly like a star, looking down on everyone below like they're absolute trash. Suddenly, every single thug on that mountain hears the noise, and snaps their heads straight toward me, in terrifying, perfect sync. Over 100 pairs of bloodthirsty eyes instantly lock onto my position. Cold sweat starts pouring down my back. I swallow hard and book it straight toward Zhang Fan, screaming, Yo, classmate, wait up. No, I mean, boss. What kind of absolute raid bosses did you piss off? But seeing Zhang Fan standing there, looking like a literal god descending from the heavens, he might as well be a glowing, glitched-out life raft in an entire ocean of enemies. Right now, this guy I've known for a grand total of 2 minutes is the only person on this planet I actually trust. Zhang Fan blinks, completely blindsided by this random reunion. He just watches me sprint over with wide, desperate puppy dog eyes, clearly having zero clue when the hell he became my boss. He's about to ask what crazy drama is going on, when another massive wave of bikers comes, charging up the stone steps right behind me, weapons drawn and ready to paint the walls. TCH. So you two are running together? The twitchy knife guy sneers, completely ignoring me. So you're the big boss, huh? Let's see what you've actually got. Zhang Fan's eyes instantly narrow, the golden glow in his left eye flaring with insane power. Honestly, since they're all gathered here anyway, none of them are leaving alive. He starts radiating this pure, terrifying black Air Force energy, staring down over 200 armed bikers, like they're nothing but a minor inconvenience. A few of the thugs visibly flinch, gulping hard at the literal demon-level pressure. Bleeding off this high schooler. 200 of us scared of 2 punks. Charge! The knife guy screams, and the entire mob surges forward like a tidal wave. I have never in my entire life witnessed anything this insane. White as a sheet, I panic whisper, There's way too many of them, bro, we gotta bounce. But Zhang Fan just calmly shakes his head. Can't outrun them. They've got rides waiting at the bottom. We end them right here on this mountain. And with that, he just strolls straight into the incoming mob, like a straight-up horror movie villain. He gives his left hand a sharp flick. The butterfly knife in the leader's grip suddenly rips itself free and shoots straight toward Zhang Fan, spinning like a deadly hurricane around him, like a loyal, bloodthirsty pet. The entire squad instantly stumbles back in pure panic. What kind of cheat code power is this? Zhong Fan calmly walks right into the chaos, as the orbiting blade carves through the air, unleashing a ruthless storm of flying blood. Ah! My finger's gone. My face.
Bro, I'm literally disfigured.
Watch out. Don't let that thing near you. Agonizing screams echo through the deserted park. Suddenly, a massive brute swings a heavy iron pipe straight for Zhong Fan's skull. Zhong Fan doesn't even flinch. He just tilts his head, his golden sigil flashing, and the iron pipe completely veers off course on its own, slamming uselessly into the dirt. The brutal recoil rattles the brute's hands, and before he can even process it, an invisible force punches him square in the face. With the impact of a speeding freight train, his nose instantly shatters into a bloody mess. He drops to the ground, screaming. One down, but the rest of the mob somehow gets the bright idea to charge him all at once. Zhong Fan scoffs, his left eye blazing with power, and with a single flick of his wrist, dozens of weapons are ripped right out of the thug's hands, floating into the air like a halo of death. Bats, shattered bottles, machetes, and blades. A massive floating armory, all pointed directly at the terrified crowd. The mob instantly freezes in their tracks, completely traumatized. Fall back! Run for your lives! Someone shrieks, their voice cracking as reality finally sinks in, sending them scattering in absolute terror. Go! Zhong Fan says coldly, gesturing his hand forward. Swoosh! 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 The floating weapons launch like supersonic missiles, right into the fleeing crowd, sparking absolute carnage. Blood pools on the concrete, forming a grim, crimson stream that trickles down the stone steps. Zhong Fan just stands there in the center of the devastation, watching the survivors run for their lives, without a single shred of mercy in his glowing golden eye. He raises his arm again, looking like a literal demon straight out of hell, hoisting a massive executioner's blade into the air. And honestly, what's left of the mob completely loses their minds. They instantly drop their weapons and start sprinting down the mountain, running for their actual lives. Meanwhile, I'm just standing there with my jaw on the floor. Like, yeah, I knew this guy was strong, but I didn't know he was this unfairly broken. Watching him stand tall in the moonlight, drenched in absolute carnage and utterly unbothered, my brain just short-circuits. I'm just thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is exactly what a real boss looks like. Suddenly, my own mirror flower ability feels embarrassingly weak by comparison. But hey, I have to remind myself that my system is a slow burn investment. Weak in the early game, but absolutely terrifying in the late game. I just need to buy some time. And honestly, hypothetically speaking, what if I can get close enough to copy his power too? As the last of those bikers vanish into the darkness down the mountain, Zhong Fan's glowing golden eye fades, and he starts walking back toward me. Dude, that was unbelievable, I mutter, staring out at the massive bloodbath. Is this really the baseline power level of the incoming Gauchian students? Because my measly mirror control feels like a complete joke compared to this. Still, I have to keep reminding myself, weak now, OP later. And if Zhong Fan's powers are truly this insane, maybe next time I really should just swipe his ability. But right then, Zhong Fan suddenly stumbles, nearly collapsing right there under the moonlight. I finally look closer and notice he's pale as a ghost, completely running on empty. Joe, boss. You good? I yell, rushing over to catch him. I'm fine. Just overexerted my mental energy a bit. He mutters, heavy sweat beating down his forehead. We need to move. They're gonna regroup soon. So it turns out that despite that mind-blowing display, he's actually still only tier 1. Telekinetically controlling that many weapons at the exact same time. Had completely maxed out his limits. That last massive weapon summon was honestly just a massive bluff. To scare off the remaining stragglers, before his tank completely ran dry. And to make matters worse, they only took down maybe 70 or 80 of those bikers, which means over 100 of them are still out there. Sure, they're currently fleeing in sheer terror, but they're bound to rally back up once the initial shock wears off. I nod quickly, slinging his weakened arm over my shoulder to move. Meanwhile, we're taking a sketchy detour down the mountain. TCH, straight up useless trash. Can't even handle 2 literal kids. A chilling voice sneers from the pitch black. My stomach instantly drops, and we both whip around. Stepping straight out of the shadows is a dude wearing a dark blue demon mask. His fangs are literally gleaming under the moonlight, and the guy is absolutely dripping with pure menace. But wait, cut to some random hole-in-the-wall noodle shop deep in Yongjiang. It's the dead of night. Slurp. A middle-aged dude is hunched over a steaming bowl, inhaling those noodles like his life depends on it. Man, that's elite. He slams down his now spotlessly clean bowl, completely satisfied. Yongjiang might be small, but these guagai noodles are a certified banger. He's rocking a totally rumpled beige trench coat, messy uncombed hair, and heavy stubble. We are talking total, unkempt, middle-aged uncle energy. Sitting right across from him is a sharp young guy in glasses and a neat suit, looking visibly exhausted by his current life choices. He adjusts his glasses. Your Majesty, are we seriously just sneaking off into the night like this? By the way, total third-person POV here since I'm not around. Hearing this, our disheveled middle-aged uncle, who is clearly a massive big shot, given the whole Your Majesty title, just chuckles. With that fat bastard running the show back there, why on earth would I even worry? His four-eyed assistant just nods along, then pulls out two thick folders. Your Majesty, here is the intel on our two newest recruits. The uncle just waves his hand lazily. Just give me the SparkNotes version. You know I absolutely loathe reading paperwork. So, the assistant summarizes. First up, Zhang Fan, 20 years old. Lost his dad at age 3, and was raised single-handedly by his mom, Lu Fong. The kid was hyped up as a literal once-in-a-century prodigy. He even secured an early admission to MIT when he was only 16, right up until he was diagnosed with a rare, absolutely brutal illness. It completely drained his family's entire life savings just for treatments. Unable to handle the agonizing pain any longer, and refusing to keep bankrupting his family, he ultimately jumped to his death at age 19. The assistant suddenly freezes, completely stunned. Wait, he jumped to his death? So a literal ghost is applying to our academy? He keeps reading. Weeks later, the gravedigger makes a chilling discovery. Zhang Fan's coffin had been violently pried open from the inside, completely empty. The massive lid was blasted 20 meters away. Somehow defying death, Zhang Fan clawed his way back to the living, only to return home and find his mother completely vanished. Her last known move? Visiting an old high school buddy, a guy named Xiong Lingfeng, to beg for a loan. But after that entry, the entire file goes completely dark. Massive black marker lines censor every single detail, locking the information behind top-secret clearance. Xiong Lingfeng. Why does that name ring a massive bell? Suddenly, a realization hits the assistant like a truck. Xiong Lingfeng is the infamous puppeteer, one of the most lethal special envoys of Shangxia. He hesitates, bracing himself to drop this bombshell, but the uncle instantly shuts him down. With a completely stone-cold face, he commands, "Skip Zhang Fan's file. Give me the breakdown on the other kids." Sensing he's skating on dangerously thin ice, the assistant backs off, and pivots straight to Gu Qinming. 19 years old, abandoned outside an orphanage back in '99. Just your average, run-of-the-mill high school grad. Mediocre grades, squeaky clean record. Absolute silence. Wait, that's seriously it? The uncle asks, totally baffled. Yep, that is literally everything. The assistant confirms, frenetically flipping through the pages one more time just to be absolutely sure. Nothing else. Didn't you guys already consult Old Qin? We did. What was Old Qin's verdict on Zhang Fan? An absolute prodigy. A rare, once-in-a-generation talent. The assistant mimics, doing his absolute best over-the-top impression. And what about Gu Qinming? The assistant's face instantly deadpans. Oh, you know, he's a good kid. Tell him to keep working hard. All right, fair enough. Now, let's cut right back to me up on the mountain, staring down a literal living nightmare in a mask. The exact millisecond my eyes lock onto this demonic freak, a wave of pure, paralyzing dread shoots straight up my spine. Run! Zhang Fan screams, his face turning completely ghostly white. Because of course, just our luck. We just had to stumble into a heavy hitter from Shangxia, at the absolute worst humanly possible moment. Without missing a single beat, we both turn an absolute bolt. The wind tears past my ears, kicking up blinding clouds of dust. But in a flash, that hideous, fanged demon mask teleports directly into my face. Running? You seriously think you can outrun me? The psycho sneers from behind the mask, as a grotesque, green-skinned arm erupts from his cloak. It's coming right for me. My pupils instantly constrict. I throw myself backward as my fantasist pattern flares to life. An iron rod materializes in my grip out of thin air, just in the nick of time to parry the lethal blow. That grotesque green arm grazes past my stomach, narrowly missing skewering me like a kebab. But the sheer force of the impact sends me flying backward, eating dirt as dust clouds explode around me. Cough, cough. I scramble right back onto my feet, my eyes locked onto this absolute monster bathed in the moonlight. Now I can see that arm clearly. It's a solid, sickly green, lean but absolutely packed with dense muscle, with wicked, hooked claws curling straight out of his elbow and wrist. Genuinely terrifying. That's Qing Liao, a core member of Shangxia. Zhang Fan mutters weakly from the ground, propping himself up on one trembling arm, while glaring daggers at the blue-masked freak. Shangxia. I repeat, hearing the name for the very first time. A literal pack of jackals. Zhang Fan spits out coldly, pure, unadulterated killing intent radiating off him. Every single core member is a high-tier superpowered assassin. They're minimum tier 2. Every last one of them has a body count of at least a dozen people. Just worthless trash that deserves to rot. This Qing Liao guy is a newbie to the organization. Since he's only tier 2, we might actually stand a chance. Tier 2. My stomach instantly drops. I mean, sure. Technically, I did manage to take down a tier 3 superpowered guy once. But let's be totally real here, that was 99% pure fluke. And even then, it's not like I actually overpowered him. The dude basically self-destructed the moment Chewy Pang showed up on the scene. If it weren't for that, I'd be the one 6 feet under right now. But this guy, he's fully active, highly trained, and a stone-cold killer. A tier 2 threat. Against the two of us who are barely tier 1. Are we seriously going to walk away from this alive? There's just no way, right? You really think you two stand a chance? Qing Liao sneers coldly. That strike just now? That wasn't even 10% of my actual power. Where is all this blind confidence coming from? As the words leave his mouth, his entire body begins to contort. His skin ripples violently as massive green muscles bulge beneath his clothes. His already towering frame stretches a massive half-meter taller. Crack. His mask splits clean down the middle, shattering onto the dirt below. And the pale moonlight hits his true face directly, revealing a grotesque, green demon visage. 2 massive fangs jut out from his mouth. This is pure, unadulterated nightmare fuel. Bro, I genuinely gasped out loud. I definitely did not sign up to watch a man transform into a literal demon. In real time, even Zhang Fan's brows furrow, not out of fear, but pure recalculation. His odds of winning this just completely plummeted. This guy is way stronger than expected. Still think you stand a chance? Qing Liao grins, his bloody mouth stretching ear to ear, sending an absolute chill straight down my spine. He stomps the ground and launches forward, like a human missile with unstoppable momentum. Zhang Fan just scoffs, flicking his fingers. A jagged steel pipe rips out from the earth, and rockets straight toward Qing Liao's face. But Qing Liao doesn't even slow down, pure contempt flashing in his eyes. The pipe connects heavily with his forehead, but instead of piercing through, it hits like solid rock. Clang! The pipe bounces off uselessly, flying away, and in that split second, Qing Liao is already standing right in front of Zhang Fan's face. Qing Liao grins viciously, twists his hips, and unleashes a brutal, green-blurred kick straight at Zhang Fan. It's so blindingly fast that Zhang Fan's eyes go wide. Post-transformation, this monster is operating on a whole different physical tier. Entirely. Speed, power, durability, none of it is comparable to a regular human anymore. And no amount of fancy abilities can compensate for being completely outclassed biologically. In a panic, he crosses his arms over his chest, his left eye flaring gold. As a mental shield slams up desperately, boom! A sickening crack echoes out, as Zhang Fan goes flying like a human cannonball, slamming straight into a massive tree trunk, hard enough to snap it completely in half. Cough, cough, cough. Zhang Fan painfully drags himself up, blood spilling from his mouth, his face completely drained of color. This monster's raw strength is insane. If he hadn't burned, he dumped every single drop of energy into that shield. Otherwise, boss, that insane hit would have shattered your bones. I scream, sprinting full throttle toward him. You really that eager to die, kid? Qing Liao snarls. His eyes lock onto me with pure, unadulterated bloodlust. But somehow I'm in the zone, completely calm. My brain is overclocking, moving faster than ever before. I slap my pocket, and a mirror flies into the air, instantly shattering into 7 razor-sharp shards mid-flight. Each piece glints with lethal, pinpoint precision. The crest on my chest flares a blinding silver, and all 7 shards rocket straight at Qing Liao like missiles. Look, I'm not the clueless rookie who couldn't even levitate a mirror without fumbling it anymore. Ever since my clash with Rani, and after putting in a brutal amount of training, my telekinetic control has leveled up immensely. But Qing Liao just stands his ground, watching the incoming shards with a smirk. He doesn't even bother dodging. A few broken pieces of glass? You seriously trying to threaten me with that? He scoffs. Oh buddy, you are severely underestimating how sharp this magically enhanced glass really is. The shards slice through the air, easily piercing right through his tough green hide, sinking 2 centimeters deep. His face immediately twitches in shock. But before he can even think about ripping them out, the final 2 shards rocket straight for his literal eyeballs. You vicious little brat. Qing Liao curses internally. Sure, his skin is tough as nails, but he never figured out a way to harden his own eyes. That's still his ultimate weak point. He can't afford to risk it. Suddenly, his nails extend into 5 blade-like claws, and he slashes wildly at the air, completely shredding both shards into dust mid-flight. You actually managed to make me bleed, he growls, brutally yanking the embedded glass out of his own muscles, his eyes flashing a demonic red with genuine fury. Now, I used that split-second distraction to sprint right over to Zhang Fan. Boss, are you okay? I'm fine. He gasps out weakly, blood dripping down his chin, his eyes still glued to the seething demon in front of us. Great! Qing Liao roars at the sky, his eyes turning a terrifying solid crimson. His body begins to bulk up to an insane degree, and his shirt literally explodes right off his chest, revealing dense green muscles that look like living stone. Then, his forehead violently splits open, and 2 crimson horns push their way out, glowing with an eerie red aura. Oh no, bro has a second phase form. Our faces instantly lose all color. Congrats, you officially pissed me off. Qing Liang snarls. His voice is straight up dripping with venomous ice. I'm gonna chop you both up right in front of each other, and swallow your skulls whole. Insane speed, devastating power, and defense so tanky our attacks barely even tickle him. How the hell do we even beat this monstrosity? I only have 2 mirrors left, and my absolute strongest attack didn't even leave a scratch. Plus, Zhang Fan is badly hurt. We need a new strategy, fast. I lock eyes with Qing Liang, shifting into pure, cold, tactical analysis mode. My brain is sprinting through every possible play. Zhang Fan glances over and realizes something. I'm completely different right now. The goofy, trolling idiot from earlier is completely gone. My eyes have gone dead cold, locked in like a wolf, patient, vicious, just waiting for that one single opening to tear its prey apart. Boss, can you still control all those machetes and broken bottles on the ground? Yeah, I can. Good. Here's the play. I lean in and spit out a barrage of rapid-fire instructions. Zhang Fan flinches. Dude, that is insanely risky. Without risk, we have 0 chance of surviving. I say flatly, my eyes still glued to Qing Liang. For some reason, seeing my expression flip like that makes Qing Liang's chest tighten, with a sudden, unfamiliar wave of anxiety. Wait, why is this brat making me nervous? His primal beast instincts, dialed up by the transformation, have saved his life countless times in the past. He actually hesitates. Should he actually trust his gut and just back off? But right then, I charge straight at him, flipping him the middle finger mid-sprint. A chaotic storm of floating machetes, shattered glass, and a butterfly knife come flying right behind me. Boom! A surge of absolute, blinding rage instantly swallows his hesitation whole. These 2 punks think they're a threat to me? He roars, blitzing forward with terrifying speed. He's a literal blur, slicing through the air straight for my throat. He's even faster than before, I note internally. Suddenly, the glowing pattern on my chest flares beneath my hoodie. Every single weapon around us begins to emit a faint blue aura, buffing their sharpness to the absolute max. I handed the machete, the glass shards, and the blade over to Zhang Fan. Why? because their surfaces are highly reflective. And we already know that sharp weapons can actually piece his defense. Sure, I could control them myself, but my reaction time with them is too slow. Besides, I need to lock in for what comes next. Zhang Fan sits there, pale as a ghost, a blinding golden light bleeding from his eye, as he meticulously guides the 3 levitating weapons. This is it. It's all or nothing on this single play. With a flick of my fingers, the 3 weapons snap into a perfect line, blitzing past me straight toward the charging demon. But Qing Liao isn't underestimating us this time. He swipes his massive claws right at the lead glass shard. Slash! Clang! His claws shatter it into dust instantly. He swings again, shredding the butterfly knife like it's paper. But just as his claws are about to delete the machete, it completely vanishes out of existence. His eyes widen as his strike hits nothing but thin air. His own momentum keeps dragging him forward, and acting on pure instinct, I pivot hard and throw a massive, empty fist, with every ounce of my strength right at his exposed neck. Suddenly, my fantasist crest erupts with a blinding glow. In that microsecond of pure panic, the machete teleports right back into my grip, blazing with a deep blue aura as its sharpness is maxed out to its absolute limit. At that exact same moment, Zhang Fan rips his hand back, golden runes flaring wildly in his eye, and a carbon copy machete bursts from the shadows, right behind Qing Liao, radiating that identical blue light. This entire sequence goes down in a fraction of a second. Both blades bite into his neck at the exact same time. From opposite sides. Slice. Thud. A sickening, clean sound echoes as his grotesque head flies into the air, bouncing and rolling violently across the dirt. His eyes are still wide open, frozen in eternal shock. Honestly, he probably died, without ever figuring out how we just outplayed him. Honestly, the play was incredibly simple. While we whispered our game plan, I secretly spawned a duplicate machete, under my absolute control. As long as I timed the depawn and respawn perfectly, I could catch him completely off guard. Meanwhile, Zhang Fan snuck up right behind him with the real blade, to deliver the final blow. One slip up and we would have been sliced to ribbons. The exact moment Qing Lu actually kicks the bucket, all that suffocating tension just drains out of me, and I straight up collapse onto the dirt. "I'm so sorry, fat man," I mumble under my breath, completely devastated. Every single warning from Chui Pang flashes through my head. I seriously should have just stayed at the hotel, like he told me to. What an absolute train wreck. All of this chaos. Nearly dying multiple times over a measly 7 yuan pancake. Who even does that? Why am I like this? Zhang Fan's mouth twitches into a faint smirk, looking like he's about to say something, but he just ends up hacking up a mouthful of blood instead. "Yo, boss, you alright? Should I call an ambulance right now?" I scramble to my feet and rush straight over to him. "I'm fine," he grunts, waving me off. "I just need somewhere quiet to patch myself up." I nod and haul him to his feet, unable to help but grin despite the absolute mess we're in. In that case, we're heading to my place. Not to flex, but my presidential suite is. And just like that, after a grueling night of non-stop warfare, 2 battered teenagers limp down the mountain side by side, propping each other up just to keep moving. As the first rays of dawn begin to paint the horizon, a mysterious figure suddenly materializes, on the steps right next to Qing Lu's headless corpse. They survey the absolute carnage, resting their chin in their hand. The eerie, white-crying mask gleams under the morning sun. It's the puppeteer watching and calculating their next move. Meanwhile, over at Jianshan Temple, swarms of technicians in white coats overrun the area, wielding high-tech scanners and planting marker flags everywhere. Up on the temple roof, Chui Pang is casually chilling with a mug of tea, yawning as he watches the massive cleanup operation unfold below him. Suddenly, Park Jimin rushes up, her heels clicking sharply against the tiles, and shoves a tablet into his hands. "Teacher," she gasps, "we've got a serious situation. The tech team is reporting that. Change of plans. The crisis just got moved up by 48 hours. Chui Pang nearly chokes on his tea. "Wait, 48 hours? How much time do we actually have left?" "Exactly 14 hours and 26 minutes. She drops the cold, hard numbers, leaving him utterly pale. "No way. That's impossible. It wasn't supposed to go down this fast. The 3 treasures maze is ready, but the 4 symbols defense is only half built. And we haven't even touched the trap arrays. Or the lethal formations. At this rate, we're done for. Everyone, drop what you're doing right now. Chui Peng barks out the order. Forget the 4 symbols entirely. Pivot all resources to the 7-star formation. It has to be fully locked and loaded before that thing wakes up. Understood, master. She wastes 0 time and dashes off. Left alone, Chui Peng mutters to himself, staring grimly into the distance. We are in massive trouble. Meanwhile, back to yours truly. Beep, beep, beep. My alarm starts blasting, and a hand slowly creeps out from under the blanket. I blindly grope around the nightstand before finally slamming the snooze button. A few agonizing seconds later, I drag myself up. My hair looks like an absolute bird's nest. I'm completely out of it. I wipe the drool off my face with my sleeve, and zombie walk my way to the bathroom. But when I stumble into the living room, I freeze. Boss, why are you sitting on the floor? Zhang Fan is sitting cross-legged, eyes closed, breathing in this bizarre, rhythmic pattern. After a moment, his eyes drift open.
I'm meditating.
Meditating? What does that even do? Suddenly, it clicks. Ran was doing the exact same thing, back when he was crashing at my place. It rapidly restores your mental energy, and over time, it boosts your control over your leaf pattern. Oh, so it's basically a real-life XP exploit. My eyes instantly light up. Can you teach me? I'm literally vibrating with hype at this point. Sure, he nods. Sit cross-legged and clear your mind. Visualize a flawless crystal in your head, and breathe from your core, not your chest. Inhale for 7 seconds, then exhale for 8. Determined, I follow his instructions to a T. I sit down and try to empty my brain, and literally seconds later, I completely pass out. Like I'm visibly wobbling right there. My head drops forward, and I start snoring like a chainsaw. Zhang Fan's eye twitch is instant. He lets out this aggressive cough to shock me awake. I snap right back up, acting dead serious. Bro, I totally just saw the crystal in my dreams. Zhang Fan is just like, huh, that is literally not how meditation works. You absolute clown. He honestly cannot wrap his mind around the complete idiot sitting in front of him, being the same tactical genius who outsmarted a Tier 2 superhuman assassin. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you something, he says after a tense silence. Why do you keep calling me boss? I let out an awkward cough. Man, that's kind of a long story. But look at it this way. Calling you Zhang Fan or classmate sounds way too formal, right? And calling you little fan or fan is just straight up weird. Where I'm from, boss isn't about who's in charge. It's slang that homies use. It means we're tight. But at the word homies, something heavy hits Zhang Fan right in the chest. He sneaks a glance at me, then quickly looks away. Whatever. I don't really care about making friends anyway. Just call me whatever you want. On the inside, I let out a massive sigh of relief. There is absolutely no way I'm telling him. The real reason I started calling him boss is because I dragged him straight into a gang war by using his name to completely bluff my way out. All right then, I say, pivoting the conversation instantly. How did you even end up scrapping with that entire biker gang? Last night, anyway? Those guys weren't just regular bikers. They're the muscle for the Shang-Chi clan. He pauses, looking totally and uncharacteristically embarrassed. Honestly, I was trying to hunt down an enemy, but I took a wrong turn, accidentally strolled right into their main headquarters, and just decided to wipe them all out since I was there. My jaw literally hits the floor. Wait, you got lost. Stumbled into their actual base by mistake, and casually dismantled 200 dudes on a whim? Bro, that is unfairly badass. So, I heard leaf patterns get ranked by how dangerous they are. Boss, you are genuinely built different. So, you gotta be top tier, right? I ask, basically fanboying over him, after watching him absolutely solo a whole army last night. Honestly, I'm not even sure. He admits. It feels like most of my powers are locked away. I don't even have the full stats on my own crest. All I know is I can move things with my mind. It's probably something called B98 telekinesis. Wait, a B rank mid-tier threat level? Hold up, that's only mid-tier? I'm completely losing it. If someone this insanely OP is just B rank, then what kind of cheat code is an S rank? And what's the deal with this tier 1 and tier 2 stuff everyone keeps hyping up? I ask, totally switching back into curious puppy mode. Hey, don't blame me. Chupeng gave me 0 lore drops. Before ditching me at that sketchy hotel. I didn't even know meditation was a basic day 1 skill until literally 5 minutes ago. Just thinking about that fat scammer speeding off with a hot blonde in a supercar makes my blood absolutely boil all over again. Man, I hope he gets wrecked. It tracks your total mastery over your leaf pattern. Zhang Fan explains. The higher your mastery percentage, the more raw power you can actually unlock. Right now, you and I are sitting at a measly 1%. Tier 2 is 5%. Tier 3 jumps to 15%. Tier 4 hits 30%. And Tier 5 is 60%. I wait for the rest, but when he stops, I'm just confused. Wait. That's it? What about Tier 6? There is no Tier 6. It only exists in theory. That's 100% mastery. Complete fusion with your pattern. By that point, you're not even human anymore. Damn. Noted. But if I'm only rocking 1% mastery right now, just how broken is the maxed out version of my mirror flower ability gonna be? My brain instantly starts spiraling with insane possibilities. Wait. Hold on a second. Since my system literally comes from an actual video game, is mirror flower even a real skill, registered in the official database of leaf patterns? If it is, who the hell had it before me? And if it's not, then what kind of anomaly am I dealing with? The deeper I down this rabbit hole, the more mysterious and massive this mental mirror world of mine becomes. Even if Tier 6 is supposed to be nothing but a myth, Zhang Fan keeps rambling on, keeping my dead silence and figuring I'm completely rattled. Look, Tier 5 users are the real deal, and Tier 5 is known as the Imperial rank. We're talking mythical level rare here. Literally fewer than 10 people on the face of the earth have ever unlocked it. The entire planet. Wait, less than 10? My eyes instantly pop. Out of billions of people alive today, only 10 hit the absolute peak? That math is frying my brain. So, how many do we actually have? I ask, practically vibrating with hype. Zhang Fan slowly holds up 4 fingers. China is straight up built different. We hold down half of the world's Imperial rank users. These God Tier 4 carry the titles of Flame Emperor, Ice, Sovereign, Wind Ancestor, and Thunder God. Flame Emperor, Ice, Sovereign, Wind Ancestor, and Thunder God. Imuta. Permanently branding those legendary names into my mind. But unlike the Imperial users from other nations, these 4 specific patterns are unique. They actually possess their own sentience. And they never fade away. Hold up. What does that even mean? Now I'm totally lost. Tattoos with their own minds? And they never disappear? These 4 emperor crests have existed for well over a millennium. Their sole, ultimate purpose is protecting China, passed down from generation to epic generation. And structurally, they're completely distinct from ordinary patterns. See, regular crests go totally dormant once their host bites the dust, waiting around for a new match. But these big 4, they don't need rest. The exact millisecond a host dies, the pattern instantly locks onto and transfers to the next successor. Secondly, standard patterns always reset back to level 1, with a brand new user, no matter how insanely overpowered the previous owner was. But for these emperors, the very moment they inherit the crest, they are instantly skyrocketed to Imperial rank. Every single pattern has its own way of passing on. Yet every single wielder throughout history shares one undeniable trait. They were all ready to lay down their lives to protect what mattered. The chosen 4 emperors, passed down through generations. Honestly, my mind is completely blown. The image of these 4 absolute legends is burned into my brain forever. Feels like I just caught a glimpse of the terrifying truth behind this entire hidden world. Our ancestors set a rule. Zhong Fan adds, any Chinese citizen who crosses paths with one of the 4 emperors must address them with the ultimate respect. Like what kind of respect? The same respect you'd show ancient royalty. You call them Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Wow, talk about a power trip, I think to myself. Suddenly, Zhang Fan checks his watch and stands up, heading straight for the exit. Wait, where do you think you're going? I jump up. It's a war zone out there, remember? There are still over 100 angry thugs hunting us down. He grabs his sleek black coat off the rack. I have to track down the enemy. Then I'm coming with you. He pauses, slowly turning to look at me. I give him a look of absolute, dead serious conviction. We're partners. You're my boss. And honestly, after last night, surviving a literal life or death battle together, I truly consider this guy my brother now. Sure, I'm usually a total clown with zero dignity, but loyalty is everything. He took a brutal hit, shielding me from a literal demon last night. If I chicken out and abandon him now, I could never live with myself. A sudden surge of pure, main character energy floods my veins. I am ready to march straight into the jaws of death, screaming his enemy's name, swords raised, ride or die style. A true blood pact of brotherhood. I don't need friends. Zhang Fan says cold as ice, breaking the heavy silence. Wait, what? Ouch. Did not see that rejection coming. Feels like getting hit with a bucket of freezing water. All my heroic hype instantly evaporates into thin air. Without even looking back, he opens the door and walks out. As his shadow fades down the hallway, one final, brutal line drifts back to me. My enemy is too strong. You'd just die. I'm left standing there, completely frozen, staring blankly at the empty doorway. A massive, confident grin slowly spreads across my face. Think about it, he didn't actually tell me to back off. He just said I'd die. Totally different vibe, right? Yeah, I'm definitely counting that as an invitation. Meanwhile, over at Qing, Yuan Heavy Industries, let's switch to third person since I'm not there. Sharp heels click sharply down a long, sterile hallway. The sorcerer slowly turns away from the window, his ominous six-pointed star mask catching the light. Is everything locked down? Flower ghost? She just giggles. Oh, it's already taken care of. All 51 floors of Qing Yuan are absolutely crawling with armed thugs. Seriously, not even a fly is getting through here. As for that specific location, I'm personally guarding it. Excellent. Our timing couldn't be more perfect. Gauchen is probably scrambling around like a headless chicken right now. I'm heading out, so make sure you guard that spot with your life. But wait, our new recruit never actually came back. Flower Ghost mentions, suddenly pouting like a child. And here I was, so looking forward to seeing what else he could do. Ugh. That absolute waste of space? The sorcerer scoffs, totally dismissive. Forget about him. The mission is way more important than some disposable rookie. But then, his mask tilts slightly, a sudden flicker of suspicion crossing his mind. Wait. Where's the envoy? He hasn't caught a single glimpse of the puppeteer since their last meeting. And going solo into a heavily fortified Qing Yuan is incredibly risky, but with the envoy's backup, victory would basically be guaranteed. He quickly shakes the thought off. Stopping the Ghost Lord is the envoy's job, not his problem. Meanwhile, at a cozy little cafe, let's stay in third person, because this is Zhang Fan's POV, not mine. It's high noon, and the entire city is absolutely baking under the scorching sun. The streets are completely packed, with upbeat music blasting cheerfully from a nearby shop. Standing quietly in the shade, Zhang Fan feels completely detached from the bustling world around him. He checks his phone, pulling up a 2-day-old intelligence report. Tianyan's system detected the puppeteer on July 26, at exactly 2:43 and 19 seconds p.m. Location: Junjiang Shuiheifu Road, Building 8. Next observation window: 72 hours. He looks up, lock eyes with an ordinary, slightly run-down coffee shop. The sign reads Man Mao Cafe. He steps up and pushes the door open. Ding! Welcome! The rich, heavy aroma of coffee immediately hits him, giving off those classic, cozy Western cafe vibes. Warm wooden tables are scattered across the room, with just a handful of random customers chilling inside. A guy in a sharp suit reading a magazine, some programmer looking stressed in a green plaid shirt, and 3 college girls gossiping in the corner. Zhang Fan slowly scans the entire room, gently letting his grip on the hidden blade in his pocket loosen. He lets out a quiet sigh and takes a seat by the window. Alright, looks like this actually is just a normal cafe. Maybe the puppeteer was just passing through here, right when Tian caught a glimpse of him, because there's no way this place is his actual safe house. Just then, a young waiter walks up to him. Hey man, what can I get started for you? Just a sugar-free latte, please. The waiter nods politely and heads back to the counter. Zhang Fan stares out the window, completely lost in his thoughts. Time slowly ticks by, and the sun begins to dip below the horizon. As night starts to creep in, wait, Something is seriously off. He instantly snaps back to reality. Why the hell is a simple coffee taking this long to make? And why hasn't a single soul walked in or left the shop? When did this bustling, lively cafe become so dead silent? He turns his head, and his eyes instantly dilate in pure shock. All 6 customers are suddenly standing upright, staring directly at him with completely blank, soulless eyes, their faces frozen stiff like terrifying wooden puppets. An icy chill runs straight down his spine. He tightly grips his hidden blade and leaps to his feet. Puppeteer! He growls, pure rage burning in his eyes. So, you finally noticed? The suited man speaks, his voice completely flat and robotic. You really thought this was my safe house, huh? Safe house. The programmer's face contorts into a creepy, unnatural grin. Who in their right mind would actually use a safe house? Knowing Gao Chun has Tianyin tracking my every move? Then how did you locate me? Oh, I've been trailing you. The waiter says, his voice dropping into a sinister whisper. Ever since you stepped foot out of your hotel. And one of the college girls suddenly chimes in. Haven't you been searching for me this entire time anyway? The third girl finishes his sentence. And all 6 of them instantly break into the exact same, unbelievably creepy, blood-curdling grin. Show yourself. Zhang Fan roars. His left eye flares with a brilliant gold light as he stomps the ground, sending a shockwave that blasts every single table 3 feet back. Clearing out the room and hiding behind puppets just to talk to me? And you call yourself the great envoy of Shangxia? Pure, unadulterated rage radiates off him. Suddenly, the kitchen curtain rustles. A man wearing a white, weeping tragedy mask steps out. Bold words for a tier 1. The puppeteer mockingly sneers. His voice is ice-cold and deadpan. As you wish, Xiong Lingfeng. Zhang Fan's breathing turns heavy and ragged, his fury burning hotter. Do you remember Lu Feng? The puppeteer tilts his head, acting as if he's trying to recall some ancient history. Ah, that woman who valued cash more than her own life? Say that again. I dare you. Zhang Fan grinds his teeth in absolute fury. A golden light flares in his eyes like a miniature star. Every single table and chair begins to violently shake. Cups, silverware, and coffee beans on the counter levitate straight into the air, as if some massive, invisible hand is tearing the entire cafe apart. What did you do to her? Oh, and what exactly is your connection to her? The puppeteer asks, completely brushing off the threat. Amused by the reaction, he chuckles, Don't tell me. You're that precious little son. She literally threw her life away trying to save? Zhang Fan doesn't say a word, glaring with absolute, murderous intent. My bad. The puppeteer says, casually shrugging his shoulders. She's dead. I personally ended her. A heavy silence falls over the room, like a sudden thunderclap detonating straight inside Zhang Fan's skull. His entire body begins to shake uncontrollably. Deep down, he had already braced himself for this answer. Gao Qin had warned him about this before. Yet, even through all the rage and despair, a tiny sliver of hope had managed to survive. What if they were wrong? But hearing the brutal truth directly from the killer's mouth shatters that final hope into pieces. Memories of his mother suddenly flood his mind. He remembers lying in that agonizing hospital bed, and how his mother would gently stroke his hair, softly singing him to sleep. He remembers the doctors telling her to give up on treatment, and how she flatly refused to let him go, desperately scrambling for money wherever she could find it. Xiao Fan, Mom will find a way to save you. I promise. He can still see her worn, aging face by his bedside, her voice soft, steady, and full of a mother's love. Tears stream down Zhang Fan's face. Suddenly, an insane surge of raw power erupts from his left eye. The golden patterns spin violently, as sinister black threads weave through them, revealing a hidden, microscopic seal. This whole time, it's been secretly draining. Almost all of his strength. Crack. Something deep inside him completely snaps. An absolute tidal wave of psychic energy explodes from his body. Behind his mask, the puppeteer's eyes narrow for a split second, before quickly regaining his icy composure. Oh, so you forced a breakthrough to Tier 2. Too bad it doesn't matter. The massive gap between us is something you can't even begin to fathom. D. Zhang Fan roars. His eyes are pure bloodshot rage, his fists clenched tight. He can feel the massive shift. Hitting Tier 2 has completely supercharged his control over the pattern. He pours absolutely everything he has into seizing total command of the entire cafe. He telekinetically hurls cups, shattered glass, sharp knives, heavy chairs, and even the massive espresso machine straight at the puppeteer in one devastating, overwhelming wave. But the puppeteer just takes a calm step back, and instantly a massive, silver behemoth materializes out of thin air. It's a colossal metallic ape, completely hijacking the entire cafe space. A single, glowing crimson eye burns menacingly on its forehead. Puppet number 6. The One-Eyed Colossus. The puppeteer announces with utter boredom. Give up. Your pathetic attacks can't even scratch his armor. His fingers twitch as if pulling invisible, deadly strings. The Colossus's eye flares to life, and with one single sweep of its massive arm, it literally obliterates every flying weapon into dust. Thud, thud, thud. The metallic beast lets out a silent roar, violently pounding its chest. The sheer shockwave is deafening. Zhang Fan's face goes completely pale. He just poured his entire soul into that ultimate attack, and it got effortlessly swatted away like a fly. And worse, this beast is only puppet number 6. Does he have a 5? A 4? A number 1? The show's over. The puppeteer sighs, casually waving the Colossus away. I actually have real business to attend to. No more time to waste on you. The second the Colossus depawns, Zhang Fan's eyes light up with desperate hope. He ignites his remaining energy and blitzes straight toward the puppeteer. 5 meters, 3 meters. Turn it up. Just 3 feet away, he whips a blade into his palm. Its cold steel gleaming as he lunges with blinding speed. But then, a soft chuckle escapes from behind the mask. Instantly, Zhang Fan's entire body freezes mid-air. Every single muscle, every single bone feels completely bound by invisible strings, leaving him totally paralyzed. His blade stops a literal hair's width from that white mask, unable to budge even a fraction of an inch. His pupils shrink to tiny pinpricks in absolute shock. I told you the power gap was way too massive. Why didn't you just listen? The puppeteer sighs, casually flicking 2 fingers. Suddenly, Zhang Fan's body starts moving on its own, contorting unnaturally like a literal marionette, before snapping straight up, like a soldier standing at absolute attention. A crushing wave of utter helplessness washes over him. How do you even fight against something like this? Relax, your ability is actually pretty interesting. I won't kill you, the puppeteer remarks, giving him a passing glance before strolling toward the exit. But the rest of your life? Yeah, it's gonna be pure hell. Zhang Fan's body falls into step right behind him, a massive, creepy grin plastered forcefully across his face. Damn it, he can even control my facial expressions. Zhang Fan throws every ounce of his willpower into resisting, but it's completely useless, pure, raw futility. An overwhelming despair he's never felt before threatens to consume him entirely. Then, flash, a blinding golden light suddenly explodes through the cafe's massive glass window. Now back to yours truly. The puppeteer instantly flinches, snapping a hand up to shield his eyes from the glare. Zhang Fan tries to do the exact same thing, but because his body is still totally locked down, he just stands there taking the full force of the blast to the face, unable to even blink. Ding! Welcome! The cafe's electronic door chime rings out. Honestly, the deadpan timing of it is absolute comedic gold. The puppeteer doesn't waste a single second, instantly summoning the massive one-eyed colossus to block the path. Clang, clang, clang. A barrage of mirror shards embeds itself deep into the colossus's heavy, metallic hand. Through the narrow gaps of its steel fingers, the puppeteer barely makes out the silhouette of a teenager. And yep, that's me with 7 miniature suns orbiting behind my back, walking out of the blinding light cool as ice. Hey boss, sit tight. I'm here to bail you out. Zhang Fan is still half blinded by my flashbang entry, seeing absolute white, but my voice jolts him awake. What are you doing here? Run. As the golden aura fades, I step forward, keeping my face completely blank and emotionless. I give them both a cold, piercing death stare, like a total king looking down on peasants. Maximum dramatic effect achieved. But internally, I am literally screaming with pure hype. The main character arriving just in the nick of time? Yeah, this moment hits different. Right now, I am living my absolute best anime protagonist life. Wait, hold up. I glance over at Zhang Fan and pause. Is he crying or smiling? Turns out it's both. because right now, Zhang Fan's face is locked into a blindingly bright, absolutely radiant smile. Honestly, it's the kind of idle smile that would make girls instantly swoon, except massive tears are streaming down his cheeks. At the exact same time, this is the most cursed, confusing emotional combo I've ever seen. Oh wait, I get it now. He must be so deeply moved by my legendary entrance that he's crying tears of pure joy. Man, my boss secretly has a heart of gold. Spoiler alert for the record, I am catastrophically wrong about this. Who the hell are you? The puppeteer asks warily, clearly thrown off by my sudden intrusion. The guy who's about to delete you. I respond, instantly locking into full, cold-blooded villain slayer mode, staring at him like he's just a pathetic insect beneath my boots. Wham! Without a single second of warning, the Colossus's massive fist hits me like a freight train, sending me flying into the wall with a sickening crack, before I crumple to the floor like a total sack of laundry. The puppeteer is just standing there like, that's it. He legitimately expected a massive threat after that intro, but instead the legendary hero just got absolutely one-shot. Goo chiming. Zhang Fan's voice completely cracks with pure panic. I painfully drag myself off the ground, my face already covered in fresh, nasty bruises, and point a violently shaking finger at the puppeteer. You cheap-shotting bastard. That is literally so unfair. But the puppeteer just completely ignores me. He dismisses his giant summon with a casual flick of his wrist. Since you're tag-teaming, you might as well join the party. Out of nowhere, my body violently snaps straight up. I'm literally moving like a puppet on invisible strings. My eyes widen in absolute horror. This is his insane ability. He can literally hijack your motor functions. Wait, is this what happened to Zhang Fan too? Then it hit me. That's why he had that creepy, forced smile. He isn't happy. He's being forced to smile. And the puppeteer smugly confirms my worst fears. Just like that, in a matter of seconds, two teenage powerhouses are forced to grin like total psychopaths against their will, mindlessly marching behind the puppeteer out the door and into the dim twilight. Meanwhile, on the 51st floor of Chingu Heavy Industries, Flower Ghost is slouching in her chair, bored out of her mind. Right behind her stands a massive metal vault door, measuring 4 meters tall and 7 meters wide. It's wrapped in heavy chains, radiating an icy, unnatural fog, as if keeping some absolute monstrosity sealed inside. What in the world is this thing? She mutters, shivering from the draft. According to the sorcerer, HQ personally shipped this mysterious cargo in last month, sealed under strict orders that no one is to open it under any circumstances. This vault is the entire reason for their raid. Overcome with curiosity, she reaches out to touch the metal. Instantly, a bone-chilling frostbite jolts up her arm. She yanks her hand back, gasping as ice crystals form on her skin. Right then, the side door creaks open, and the puppeteer strolls right in, with me and Zhang Fan trailing right behind him. Both of us are still forced to wear these goofy-ass smiles, completely trapped in our own bodies. And who are these two supposed to be? Flower Ghost asks. The brats who took down Qing Liao. The puppeteer replies, totally unfazed. Their skills are actually pretty interesting. I'll bring them to HQ for dissection once I get back. Keep an eye on them. Flower Ghost eyes us up and down, instantly fascinated. She barely gives me a passing glance, before locking her eyes onto Zhang Fan's handsome face. Well, aren't you a little cutie? She purrs, mockingly lifting his chin with her finger. Zhang Fan's eyes flare with absolute rage. He violently jerks his head away, looking disgusted. But his resistance only fires up Flower Ghost even more. She starts running her hands all over him like he's a brand new toy, practically throwing herself at him without an ounce of shame, leaving me standing there with my jaw on the floor, feeling majorly secondhand offended for my boss. Like, seriously? Am I just invisible or what? My boss is literally suffering here, and you won't even throw a single glance my way. They're crucial test subjects, not your personal playthings. The puppeteer cuts in, cold as ice. She pouts, reluctantly backing off. Understood, envoy. She radios for backup, and two heavily armored goons immediately roll up, decked out in tactical gear, submachine guns, and night vision helmets. Take these two and throw them in a cell. Keep them under heavy guard. The envoy specifically requested them. She sneers, dripping with heavy sarcasm as she says the title, shooting him a side eye the entire time. But the puppeteer doesn't even flinch, his expression completely hidden behind that creepy white mask. The guards slam heavy metal cuffs onto our wrists, the locks clicking shut, with a cold, heavy snap before shoving gun barrels into our backs. The puppeteer casually waves his hand, and just like that, the invisible threads paralyzing our bodies completely dissolve. Instantly, full control of my muscles floods back. "Don't try anything stupid," the puppeteer warns with a bone-chilling tone. Zhang Fan shoots me a sharp look, shaking his head, forcing me to swallow down. Whatever furious comeback was already loaded and ready to fly. The guards aggressively march us out. Zhang Fan casts one last look back at the puppeteer, his face unreadable, clearly plotting his next move in silence. With us out of the way, the puppeteer turns to make his exit. "My time is almost up. I'm heading out. Flower Ghost, make sure you don't screw this up." He doesn't even bother looking back at her, walking away. With those parting, dismissive words, she rolls her eyes at his retreating figure, and slumps back into her chair with a scoff. Meanwhile, outside the Jinshan tourist area, chaos is brewing as a massive crowd of tourists angrily protests the entire scenic zone, being suddenly put on high-security lockdown. What the hell is going on? Why did they shut everything down without warning? I traveled all the way from Yangzhou for this? Look, they even brought in armed soldiers. Is there like a terrorist attack happening inside? A 10-kilometer perimeter around Jinshan Temple is now a lockdown military exclusion zone. But despite the heavy security, a figure eerily rises straight out of the ground. At the edge of the forest, the sorcerer, his six-pointed star mask gleaming in the dark. He strolls right past the patrolling troops, completely undetected. Crouching down, he carves an intricate geometric pattern in the dirt, using nothing but a fallen branch. It looks just like an alchemical summoning circle. As he presses his palm down, yellow electrical sparks surge across the symbol. With a sudden flash of light, he vanishes. Meanwhile, up on Jinshan itself, scientists in white lab coats are planting tiny flags. In a highly precise ritualistic pattern. All across the mountain, they place them in the dirt, squeezed between rocks and even hammered into tree trunks. Inside a command tent at the summit, a young guy with his arm in a cast paces anxiously. Suddenly, the tent flap flies open as Shui Peng walks in, with Park Jimin following close behind. Seeing his mentor, Yoon Yi's face lights up instantly. "Yoon Yi, how's that arm holding up?" Shui Peng asks, a flash of anger crossing his eyes, before he forces himself to calm down. Yoon Yi's hype immediately deflates, replaced by pure embarrassment. "Oh, it's just a clean fracture, nothing crazy. I just can't throw down for a couple of days." Shui Peng nods and claps his good shoulder, with genuine respect written all over his face. "Not bad, kid. You actually held your own against the sorcerer. A top tier 3 power. No less. Man, please don't hype me up." Yoon Yi laughs weakly, rubbing the back of his neck. "That wasn't a draw. He didn't even have a scratch on him. Yoon Yi, your ability was never meant for frontline brawls. Surviving that clash is honestly a massive win." Park Jimin adds warmly, making Yoon Yi blush instantly. His eyes light up as he gives a firm nod. "Yoon Yi." Shui Peng's tone suddenly turns dead serious. "I know this is a massive favor to ask, but the situation is incredibly critical right now. We need your power, but you have every right to say no, so don't feel pressured to give us an answer right away." But Yoon Yi cuts him off immediately, his eyes burning with sheer determination. "I'm a Gaochen student. We don't back down from a fight. Just tell me what needs to be done." "Fear? I don't even know the meaning of the word." Shui Peng goes dead silent for a moment, clearly moved by Yoon Yi's sheer guts. "Listen, that anomaly is waking up way ahead of schedule. Our 4 symbols barrier isn't even fully set up yet. If it breaks the surface right now, it's going to trigger absolute mass hysteria. We need you to summon a massive fog." He flings his arms wide, tracing a colossal circle in the air. A smoke screen stretching 10 kilometers wide. "You don't need to blanket the entire mountain, Yoon Yi. Just lock down a secure perimeter, so nobody on the outside can see the madness going down within."
Yoon Yi nods resolutely.
"Understood. Consider it done." Shui Peng doesn't say another word. He just gives his shoulder another heavy pat, staring at him with pure, unspoken respect. "Good kid." With that, they step out of the tent. Shui Peng casts a glance back over his shoulder, his voice dripping with pure ice. "That rogue sorcerer. He's a dead man. No exceptions. Leave him to me, master. Park Jimin replies, a lethal, murderous glare flashing across her gorgeous face. Anyone who dares touch my junior will have to run to the ends of the earth to escape me. Meanwhile, out on the mountainside, the sorcerer suddenly erupts from the dirt like a geyser, stumbling wildly and almost face-planting on the rocks. His face is pale, twisted with sheer frustration. Behind his mask, his eyes lock onto the peak, mind racing to make sense of the situation. So this is Gao Chen's legendary 3 treasures maze formation. Those 9 arrays really are as terrifying as they say. He growls. He had tried to bypass everything by tunneling straight up, using his earth-burrowing magic. But instead of reaching the top, he got hopelessly lost in the spatial maze for a solid hour, only to spit out right back where he started. He pauses, calculating his next move, before his eyes lock in with dark resolve. Fine. If the stealth route is a bust, he'll just have to break through with brute force. He whips out a jar of ominous, unidentified blood, dips his fingers right into the gore, and begins painting an alchemical array directly onto the earth. The ritual takes 5 agonizing minutes, draining his mental reserves to the absolute dregs. By the time he paints the very last stroke, he's swaying on his feet, barely conscious. Spanning 2 meters wide, the completed magic circle glows with a sickening crimson light, pulsing with pure, unadulterated dread. Straight up looking like a nightmare crawled out of hell. One glance is enough to break a normal person's mind. Catching his breath for just a split second, he bites down on his finger, drawing fresh blood, and slams his bleeding palms onto the cracked magic circle. Instantly, a massive bolt of lightning tears through the clouds, striking dead center into the array. Blinding electrical energy erupts everywhere, as a colossal, blood-red portal begins to manifest, hovering ominously in midair, as chilling screams and agonizing wails echo from the other side. Savage guardian of the underworld, god of blood and ruin, by the sacrifice of 61 living souls, I summon you to unleash pure chaos upon this world once more. Let these foolish mortals drown in absolute terror. The sorcerer shrieks, invoking the legendary Cerberus, dropping to his knees with his arms wide like a crazed zealot. Thump, thump, thump. Earth-shaking footsteps shake the area from behind the gate. Responding to his dark summon, boom, the portal blown wide open as a monstrous dark entity lunges forward, crashing into the earth, revealing a terrifying 6-story tall beast. A massive wolf-like demon covered in razor-sharp, needle-like fur, with 3 snarling heads snapping and gnashing at once, unleashing a deafening, blood-curdling howl, the shockwave of the roar echoing all the way to the mountain peak, making everyone freeze in their tracks, sharing looks of sheer panic. Back inside the Jin Shan temple, Chui Pang and Park Ji-min immediately whipped their heads around, their eyes locked dead-on toward the direction of the blast. Master, let me take care of this one, Ji-min says, an icy wave of killing intent flashing in her eyes. Chui Pang frowns, opening his mouth to stop her, but she cuts him off with a confident, bright smile. You've got much bigger fish to fry, right? Besides, we're not those helpless little academy kids who needed you to bail us out of every single fight. Go ahead, I've got this covered. Chui Pang hesitates for a brief, tense moment, before letting out a heavy sigh, his tone deadly serious. Just stay safe out there. But she only gives a playful smirk, pulling a sleek, high-tech silver briefcase seemingly out of thin air, and presses the release button, as sharp mechanical whirring sounds echo from within. Click, the briefcase begins to shift and morph, straight up looking like something out of a Transformers movie. Within 2 seconds flat, she's wielding a badass 5-foot silver spear, complete with a lethal, spindle-shaped tip and a crimson tassel dancing in the wind, a terrifying cold glint reflecting off its razor blade. Master, I'm heading out, she shouts out with pure hype, blitzing down the mountain like a literal bolt of lightning. Chui Pang just watches her flex, a proud, knowing smirk spreading across his face. Meanwhile, down the slope, that absolute unit Cerberus is tearing through the forest, snapping massive trees like toothpicks, and kicking up a massive storm of dust as it charges ahead. The sorcerer is riding shotgun on its back, eyes locked onto the barely visible peak, scowling behind his mask at how insanely fast this beast is moving. Honestly, traveling from mid-mountain to the top should literally take seconds. but they've been sprinting full throttle for 5 straight minutes. And the summit hasn't gotten a single inch closer. This maze formation is getting on my last nerve. He curses out loud, completely annoyed by how the array is screwing with their movement. His entire mission depends on reaching the peak. And if he can't even get past the front door, the whole master plan goes down the drain. He definitely can't afford to look incompetent here. But just as he's about to make his move, a flash of cold, lethal steel comes tearing down from the heavens. Cerberus's danger senses immediately redline, and it slams its massive paw into a giant boulder, shattering it into pure dust, using the insane recoil to pull off a desperate sidestep. Boom! A silver spear obliterates the ground, landing exactly where Cerberus was standing a millisecond ago, leaving a massive 5-meter-deep crater in its wake. What terrifying power! The sorcerer's pupils instantly shrink. If it wasn't for Cerberus's god-tier beast instincts, that single strike would have absolutely erased him. Suddenly, a gorgeous figure drops straight from the sky, landing flawlessly. Spear, return. She commands with absolute authority. The buried weapon begins to vibrate violently, transforming into a blinding beam of silver light, before snapping right back into her hand. Park Jimin stands tall in her iconic red dress, her golden hair catching the wind beautifully. But every single bit of her usual playful vibe is gone, replaced by a freezing, razor-sharp aura of pure murder as she points her spear down. You're Gao Chen's war goddess. The sorcerer gasps, recognizing her on the spot. She flawlessly twirls her spear once, leveling the deadly tip right at his throat. So, you're the trash who hurt my junior? The sorcerer just smirks. Oh, you mean that weather control brat? Huh, is that it? No real power at all. Just a bunch of flashy, cheap tricks. Pure rage instantly ignites in her eyes, unleashing a massive wave of suffocating killing intent. Suddenly, an ancient crest begins to glow on her exposed back. Beneath her dress, the phantom of a colossal warrior goddess shimmers to life, towering right behind her. An overwhelming pressure floods the entire battlefield. The sorcerer's knees immediately buckle, nearly slamming him straight to the dirt. That mark? Danger rank? A rank 14 warsoul? He forces the words out through gritted teeth, desperately fighting just to stay upright as her hair floats wildly. A faint, eerie red light bleeds from her eyes, her terrifying aura surging to its absolute peak. She has become an unstoppable goddess of war made flesh. Not much power, you said? Then let's see exactly how much you can handle. She violently slams her foot into the ground, shattering the earth and cracking it wide open. In a flash, she launches forward like a heat-seeking missile, blitzing straight at Cerberus. The hellhound roars out a frantic warning, all 3 heads snarling as razor-sharp claws swipe down at her. Even though the beast is literally 12 times her size, she doesn't flinch or slow down for a single second. The two forces collide at absolute maximum speed. She pivots on a dime, twists her hips, and drives her spear directly into the incoming mass of claws. The spear strikes with the ferocity of a lunging dragon. Clang! The sheer impact sends massive shockwaves rippling through the dirt, gouging a colossal crater right beneath them. Violent gales howl between the crushing claw and the piercing spear. Cerberus actually gets blasted back several steps, while Park Jimin only slides back a mere 2 paces, before completely anchoring her stance. Bro, she just straight up outmuscled a 6-story hellhound. Meanwhile, the sorcerer, having jumped off Cerberus's back right before the impact, stares in absolute disbelief. What kind of monster is this woman? She's literally stronger than Cerberus. Park Jimin casually raises her spear, pure, icy contempt flashing in her eyes. Your power, she states flatly, is entirely unimpressive. Heh. The sorcerer suddenly lets out a dark chuckle, his voice slithering out from behind his mask like a venomous snake. War goddess or not, I haven't even started getting serious yet. He pulls out a pair of pristine white gloves, and slowly slides them onto his hands, revealing that each one is tattooed with a different alchemical circle. Watching from the back, Park Jimin's eyebrow raises in intrigue. Her spear hums with power as she coils her body and charges right back in. But the sorcerer doesn't even flinch. He just stands there, muttering a dark incantation. Suddenly, the crimson sigil on his glove flares to life. A massive fireball, the size of a soccer ball, instantly materializes right in his palm. The flames churn violently, bursting with raw energy. The intense heat reflects off his mask, casting a hellish red glow across his face. He hurls it straight at her, but bro is far from finished. Mid-chant, two more devastating fireballs manifest out of thin air. They form a perfect triangle right around her, completely sealing off every single escape route. She just scoffs at the attempt, and thrusts her spear 3 times with blinding, lightning-fast speed, leaving 3 distinct afterimages in her wake. Each precise strike lands dead center on a fireball. Boom! 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 All 3 fireballs instantly detonate and disperse, fading away into harmless streaks of falling light. She doesn't even lose her momentum, lunging right through the fading embers, aiming straight for his heart. The sorcerer's eyes go wide with absolute panic. He slams his palm hard into the ground, and literally sinks straight through the solid earth. Her spear strikes nothing but empty air. She pauses, frowning as she scans the area. Using earth burrowing, he pops up about 5 meters away. The sorcerer completely materializes back on the surface. He lets out a cruel, sinister grin and snaps his fingers. Click. Suddenly, a massive crimson alchemical circle blooms right beneath her feet. Pure dread radiates from the seal, and her eyes widen in sheer shock. An instant later, a blinding red light erupts violently, swallowing her whole in a massive pillar of fire, immediately followed by a devastating chain of explosions. Boom! 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 A massive mushroom cloud rises high off the mountainside, so huge it can be seen all the way from the summit up top. Seeing this, Chui Pang's pupils instantly contract. He's just about to charge down the mountain to help when a flat, completely emotionless voice echoes right beside him. I'd strongly advise against moving. His face turns completely pale with shock. He turns to find a young man clad in Gotchen's crisp white uniform, standing right next to him without making a single sound, speaking with a terrifying mechanical detachment. You? The puppeteer, Chui Pang growls, his voice dropping to an ice-cold register. How on earth did you break through the 3 treasures maze? Who said I did? The brainwashed puppet lets out a stiff, creepy smirk. I just hijacked one of your men, over on a completely different mountain and strolled right in. Chui Pang just scoffs. Pathetic. Your real body is miles away. You're stuck pulling the strings on this one loser. You can't touch me. Oh really? The kid suddenly whips out a piece, pressing the cold barrel straight to his own temple. Even if it costs your own soldier his life? Watching Chui Pang instantly freeze up, the puppet cackles. I don't even need to fight you, man. All I need to exploit is your weakness, and yours, Ghost Lord, is that you're too soft. Coward. Hiding behind puppets. Pure rage boils over inside Chui Pang. His fists clench so hard they shake. Absolute agony written all over his face. Pitch-black aura begins to bleed out from beneath his feet, plunging the entire temple roof into a sub-zero chill. After a tense, heavy silence, he finally lets go, the darkness fading away. His eyes lock onto the distant explosion, filled with dread. Jimin, please be okay. Meanwhile, down at the crater, the sorcerer mocks the smoking wreckage. War goddess, my ass. Look how easily I played her. But just as he's flexing his victory, he notices Cerberus is still on high alert. Every muscle is locked tight, staring dead ahead, like it's facing an actual demon. His stomach drops, and he slowly looks back at the rubble, pure terror crawling up his spine. The swirling dust and smoke begin to warp, spinning faster and faster, whipping up into a massive, violent tornado. The insane centrifugal force strips leaves right off the trees, and rips heavy boulders off the ground, sucking them straight into the vortex. And standing dead center is Park Ji-min, spear raised, completely unbothered. With a casual flick of her wrist, a deafening, draconic roar echoes from the tip, and the entire tornado violently detonates outward. The shockwave snaps massive trees like toothpicks, and tears a literal hole straight through the clouds above, as if she just stabbed the sky itself. As the wind howls, Cerberus drops low, claws digging deep into the dirt just to hold on, growling at the chaos unfolding. The sorcerer gets launched back, stumbling, barely anchoring himself with a rushed rune. What kind of monster is this woman? He curses, his face turning ghost white. The wind dies down, her dress is shredded. Pale skin is exposed to the elements. She couldn't care less. Just icy stares for the man and his beast. Is this really the best a top tier? Tier 3 can do. She shakes her head. Her lip curls in pure disdain. Fine. Let me show you what real power looks like. The marking on her back flares blindingly. Her presence is skyrocketing. The warrior goddess silhouette takes form, even denser than before, sharper and infinitely more terrifying. Grant me possession, she commands, spear pointed down, hand locking a complex seal. She bows slightly to the phantom behind her. White light surges from the spirit into her. Her entire aura shifts in a heartbeat. Overwhelming pressure radiates outward, blanketing the entire battlefield. Her expression turns cold and solemn. Her eyes hold the terrifying weight of someone looking down on all creation. Just by standing there, she crushes him. An invisible force he can barely endure. His mind scrambles to recall everything on this terrifying technique. Danger rank A, 14th War Soul. It allows communion with legendary warriors. If they deem you worthy, you gain their divine protection, access to their signature moves, even full possession, but the cost is brutal. The warrior must have slaughtered countless foes, with bloodshed lingering in one spot for ages, and approval is fickle at best, usually only near death. Failure means total soul annihilation. She's in full possession state right now. The sorcerer realizes, but what legend could possibly carry this power? May I ask for your name? He gasps out, barely able to even look up. Her expression never even flickers. She simply raises her spear. But instead, a deep, commanding masculine voice rumbles from her throat. Zhao Zilong of Changshan, requesting entry to the battlefield. Hold up. The legendary general himself? Zhao Yun. The sorcerer's face completely deforms with shock under his mask. There's no way. She actually managed to summon the war soul of one of the mythical 5 tiger generals, and won his absolute allegiance. Before the guy can even process this nightmare, Park Jimin turns into a straight-up blur and vanishes into thin air. Her speed is completely broken now. She is operating on a whole different level. The sorcerer's pupils contract in pure, unadulterated dread. Cerberus lets out a deafening roar, lunging forward, but its left head instantly detonates into a shower of gore. A spectral spear had punched clean through it. As monster blood splatters across her face, her expression doesn't even twitch. She looks like a ruthless god of war carved entirely out of ice. The remaining 2 heads snap their jaws viciously right at her, trying to tear her apart, but she blurs again, matrix dodging every single bite with flawless precision. In the next breath, she delivers 2 lightning-fast thrusts. Draconic roars echo straight off the tip of her spear, and both of the beast's remaining heads instantly explode into mist. The massive, headless corpse of Cerberus hits the dirt, blood geysering out like a broken hydrant, before the entire beast dissolves into a massive cloud of black smoke that dissipates into the atmosphere. 3 strikes. She completely deleted his ultimate trump card in just 3 hits. The sorcerer begins to tremble uncontrollably, a crushing wave of absolute helplessness washing over him. How is anyone supposed to fight a literal monster like this? She casually flicks her blood-soaked spear, splattering droplets right across his mask, acting like she didn't even notice, killing his summon. It's the way you'd swat a mosquito without a second thought. Desperate, the sorcerer bites clean through his own tongue, slamming a massive, glowing alchemical circle into the ground beneath his feet, and literally burrows into the earth to escape. He is burning his own life force, just to trigger an emergency long-range teleport. The guy is absolutely terrified out of his mind. He internalizes a vow to never, ever cross this woman again. The mission? Yeah, screw the mission. Who would risk their life fighting a literal deity of war? As he tunnels through the dirt at breakneck speed, away from the chaos, and just as he finally begins to breathe a sigh of relief, thinking he made it out, that familiar, gleaming silver spear appears, punches clean straight through his chest. Like, wait, what from behind? He spins around, totally stunned, and sees a massive 20-meter crater, ripped right through the earth behind him. Someone literally sniped him through solid rock, and skewered his chest with insane precision. He groans in pure agony, clutching the massive wound, as a dark, ominous alchemical mark begins to glow. But hey, as a hardcore Shangxia elite, he heavily modded his own body years ago, even growing a second heart so this alone won't kill him. Powering through the blinding pain, with a faint glimmer of hope, he tries to yank the spear out, but completely freezes. A mysterious figure in a crimson dress is already standing right there, her slender hand gripping the shaft of the weapon, glaring down at him with zero mercy. Slight sound effect as she rips the spear right out, sending his face contorting in pure agony. But before he can even let out a scream, a terrifying aura of absolute power explodes from her body. She thrusts the spear straight up toward the heavens. And boom! A blinding beam of white light erupts from deep underground, tearing through the earth and shooting into the stratosphere, literally punching a massive hole right through the clouds, as bright sunlight comes pouring down. Yeah, this single strike just casually parted the sky. Caught dead center in the blast, the sorcerer is completely vaporized, leaving absolutely nothing behind. Park Jimin coldly stares at the empty spot where he just existed, and says, "All right, it's done. Don't you dare summon me for trash like this ever again. Handle it yourself next time." Just like that, her terrifying, overwhelming aura completely vanishes. Her legs immediately buckle, and she collapses hard onto the ground, gasping desperately for air, with a completely pale face. "Got it. I totally get it," she mutters, pouting weakly. "It won't happen again." Meanwhile, up on the summit, Shui Pang is watching this entire madness unfold, and just bursts into absolute, uncontrollable laughter. "Yo, puppeteer, you seeing this right now? She didn't even need me to tag in. That spear strike was on a whole different level of legendary. That's my student right there. Ha ha ha, TCH. Just another disposable piece of trash." The puppet-controlled young man scoffs, lowering his weapon with a freezing smirk. "But don't go celebrating just yet. I never actually expected that total idiot to get the job done anyway. That guy? Just a total distraction. My real endgame? Already locked in." Shui Pang's laughter completely dies out, his face turning instantly stone-cold. "What did you do?" he demands, panicking. The kid just flashes a smug, wide grin, before his whole body violently shudders and drops like a stone. Shui Pang instantly lets out a curse. The puppeteer behind the scenes just severed the link. Which means whatever they actually came for, it's a done deal. Right on cue, the temple floor beneath Shui Pang begins to absolutely quake. But hey, back to my POV. Two heavily armed goons are currently marching Zhong Fan and me straight into a cramped, sketchy storage closet. "Get the hell in!" one of them barks, giving me a brutal kick. I stumble hard, eating dirt right on the dusty floor. "Hey!" I'm literally about to explode into a furious rant when, clang! The heavy metal door slams shut, locking us in. "Boss, they're straight up bullying me." I whine out loud, giving Zhong Fan the ultimate, most pathetic puppy dog eyes. Zero response. Instead, he just stands up and starts thoroughly scoping out the room. And man, it's tiny. Rusted-out shelves take up like 2/3 of the entire space, leaving barely enough room for the two of us to even lie down sideways. Thick layers of dust cover everything, with massive cobwebs hanging directly over our heads. It's clear nobody has set foot in this dump for ages. Since Zhong Fan is completely ghosting me, I try to aggressively yank my hands out of the metal cuffs, but some heavy-duty locking mechanism has them clamped down. Solid, no matter how hard I strain.
All right, fine.
Time for Plan B. I quietly try to trigger my fantasist ability, manifesting a whole chainsaw in my mind with everything I've got. But when I pop my eyes open, absolutely nothing. Just empty air. Wait. What? Even a completely botched summon should default to something. At the very least, a sad little flower, right? "It's not gonna work," Zhong Fan says, his brow furrowed. "Those are specialized anti-meta restraints. They completely cut off your spiritual flow. Your entire power system? Totally bricked." My jaw drops instantly. "No puedes. No escape route. Fantastic. Just love that for us." Zhong Fan finally finishes scanning the perimeter. He just sits there, crossing his legs and closing his eyes to meditate. "Boss, are you seriously not even a little worried?" I ask, completely baffled by how insanely chill he is. "Why should I be? Dude, because that crying, masked psycho wants to drag us off to some lab as lab rats." Instantly, my brain starts playing a horror movie reel of every twisted human experimentation scene you can think of. I shudder, but he just calmly replies, "Gao-chan will come for us." I'm practically in tears. "Boss, seriously? Everyone at Jinshan is probably running around like crazy, waiting for that massive threat to show up. Who is even going to notice that we got kidnapped?" "Tianyan," Zhang Fan says, sounding totally unbothered. "Wait, what's Tianyan?" "A high-tech Gao Chun satellite. It monitors leaf pattern. energy signatures, across the globe. It's built specifically to track superpowered individuals. Oh wow, that explains everything. That's how Chue Peng knew I had a pattern. Just days after I unlocked it. We've been under satellite surveillance this whole time. So, Tianyan can see us right now. Is Gao Chun already on their way to rescue us? I leap up, suddenly bursting with hope. Tianyan orbits the entire globe, completing one full rotation every 72 hours. Zhang Fan says deadpan, instantly murdering all of my optimism. It won't pass over Junjiang again for another 20 hours. I instantly collapse back onto the floor. 20 hours? By then, I'll already be sliced open on some operating table. But wait, if Tianyan can track every single leaf pattern user, why doesn't Gao Xian just pinpoint Shangxia's headquarters and wipe them off the map directly? I ask, suddenly curious about how this works. Tianyan's scanning depth has its limits. Anything buried more than 5 meters underground is completely invisible to it, Zhang Fan explains. Besides, taking down Shangxia isn't actually our job. That's up to Unit 0. We've got much bigger fish to fry. Unit 0? I blink, waiting for him to elaborate. He just gives me a tired, "Are you serious?" look. Think about it. If there's a superpowered terrorist syndicate out there, there's obviously going to be a national, superpowered counterterrorism task force. Unit 0 exists solely to hunt down and dismantle Shangxia. The National Anti-Superpower Task Force. Unit 0. I mutter the heavy name to myself. Honestly, that sounds kind of hype. I'm about to press for more details, but Zhang Fan straight up closes his eyes, completely shutting down any further questions. Being this guy's personal Wikipedia must be absolutely exhausting. He's literally a walking encyclopedia, who occasionally chooses to tolerate my existence. I pout and swallow my next question, even though my curiosity is burning alive. But wait, how does this guy even know all this? We're both technically fresh, new students here. How is he already so deeply in the loop? I overthink it for a minute, get absolutely nowhere, and finally close my own eyes, diving straight back into my mental mirror dimension. Everything looks standard except for the soul energy log, which is completely blowing up with new notifications.
Liguan mes 4. Bang Taiju mes 7.
Zhang Wei +6. I have to scroll forever just to hit the bottom. And every single entry is flashing red for anger. Now I'm just confused. Who even are these people? I don't recognize a single name on this list. How did I manage to make this many people utterly furious? When did I even have time to trigger an entire mini-army? I scroll all the way down to the final entry. This one is a deep, glowing red. Qing Liang. Soul energy +50. Oh wait, now I remember. That's the green demon guy. And then it clicks. The biker mob. Every single name matches the gang I completely outran the other night. Well. There you are, my lovely benefactors. I quickly do the math and combined. These guys just handed me nearly 400 soul energy points. My progress bar, which was barely sitting at 20%, just rocketed all the way up to 60%. What? Absolute angels, honestly. They're officially my favorite people. Bro, I am seriously onto something huge here. Targeting single enemies gives terrible returns. But mass crowd panic? That's the actual meta. While I'm grinning like a maniac over my new farming strategy, a wild thought suddenly hits me. Wait. The restraint cuffs suppress leaf pattern abilities, but my cheat code doesn't come from a leaf pattern. It comes straight from the system. My heart starts racing. I quietly try to activate the not flower ability directly on the metal restraint itself. Instantly, the cold metal surface flickers to life, displaying a crystal-clear close-up of a gorgeous woman. Let's go. It worked. These cuffs can't block my system at all. Alright, now I'm officially dying to know where the hell this mirror system even came from. This thing has literally carved out an entire dimension in my mind, giving me something that feels like a magic pattern, but isn't actually one, complete with its own crazy soul energy economy. But even if I want to make magic happen, there isn't a single damn mirror in this dusty excuse of a storage closet. The metallic surface of these cuffs barely reflects a thing. What, am I supposed to ask the guards to bring me a vanity mirror? I take a deep breath to try and think. Mirror on the wall. Where the hell is a mirror around here? And then, it hits me. When that creepy puppeteer was hijacking my body earlier, I caught a quick glimpse of this entire facility's exterior. And guess what? The entire building is practically covered in highly reflective glass. My eyes instantly light up.
Yo, boss.
I just figured out how to get Gouch in here right now. Zhang Fan opens his eyes, totally bewildered. Wait, what's the play? I flash a wicked grin. Oh, you'll see. But first, I need to get out of this damn room. My range is way too short from inside here. His eyes widen in shock. Your ability actually works? I give him a firm nod, tilt my head toward the door, and lock eyes with a silent signal. Help! Someone help! This metal restraint is about to blow. I let out a scream of absolute, pure terror. Outside, the two guards instantly freeze, exchange a panicked look, and slam the door open. What the hell is all the screaming for? One of them barks, but then they look down. The heavy metal cuff on my wrist is glowing a violent red, looking like it was just pulled straight from a forge, and about to detonate in 3, 2, 1. It's burning my hand off. It just started melting on its own. Get it off me. I'm a high-value test subject. Do you really want to explain to the big boss why I ended up dead? I'm thrashing around, my voice cracking with masterfully faked panic. The guards just stare, completely dumbfounded. I mean, these things have never malfunctioned before. Since when do high-security restraints just randomly self-destruct? Hold on. Let me radio this in to command. One guard grunts, reaching for his comms. But right then, a sharp whoosh of wind cuts past his ear, and a massive, heavy object slams violently into the back of his skull. His eyes roll back, and he drops like a sack of bricks. The other guard whips around, only to see a wildly handsome teenage boy standing there, cool as a cucumber. He's holding a metal block with ice-cold eyes. Why you? The guard barely stutters out, as his hand desperately reaches for his belt. Thwack! Another flawless hit. And down goes number 2. I look down at the two unconscious guards, and let out a dramatic sigh. Man, you should have just opened the door when I asked nicely. There was absolutely no need to page comms. We need to move. They check in around the clock. Zhang Fan says, we don't have much time. He doesn't even spare a glance at the two knocked-out guards. I quickly snatch a walkie-talkie right off one of their belts. Using my teeth, of course. I tuck it under my arm and we both crouch low, hugging the wall tightly. The hallway right outside the storage room is massive, lined with identical metal doors on both sides. Aside from our two snoozing friends here, it's completely empty. What's the range on your power? Zhang Fan whispers, his eyes narrowing. I think about it for a second. Honestly, about 10 meters. To be completely real with you, I've never actually tested my limits. The only real metric I have to go off of is the distance to my bathroom mirror. When I'm scaring the towel, better to play it safe. He nods and we creep stealthily toward the end of the hall. Up ahead, it opens up into a massive office floor. Neat rows of desks totally ghosted and abandoned, except for 5 armed thugs, who are slowly patrolling the area. Suddenly, my eyes light up. I spot the manager's office. It has glass partitions, with a pretty solid reflection, and right behind it a massive floor-to-ceiling window that acts as the building's outer wall. Perfect glass surface. Talk about a jackpot.
Inuja Zhang Fan.
Motioning with my eyes toward the office. He frowns, locking into deep thought. Okay, target is locked down. But now, how do we sneak past 5 armed gunmen? I'll play bait, I say. You flank around while all eyes are on me. Remember, we're high-value test subjects to them. They won't actually risk killing me. Zhang Fan whispers, trying to cook up a plan. But I just shake my head, shutting him down. Instead, I start creeping backward, right back down the hallway we just came from. Zhang Fan is completely lost, but he follows anyway. I halt right in front of a small wooden door, jam the metal block against the handle, and press down hard. With a loud creak, it swings wide open, unleashing a massive wave of that unmistakable stench. Inside is a cramped closet crammed with mops, brooms, and plungers. Yep, a janitor's closet. Zhang Fan blinks in disbelief. Like, seriously? We're hiding here? The second they realize we're gone, they're gonna tear this entire floor apart. This is literally the worst possible hiding spot on Earth. But before he can even open his mouth to complain, I yank him inside and whisper the master plan. Bro, listen. I'm gonna use this guard's radio to report a fake jailbreak, and send every single guard on this floor, sprinting in the exact opposite direction. Once the coast is clear, we make a run for the manager's office. His eyes immediately light up and he nods. Hey, credit where credit is due. I am clearly the absolute brain cell of this duo. When it comes to playing dirty, I clear my throat, press the radio button with the metal block, and announce in my most serious, authoritative voice. Attention! The two kids on floor 50 just broke out. Repeat, suspects are loose and heading toward the north stairwell. All units, converge on that location immediately. Copy that, on our way, comes the instant reply. I smirk, feeling incredibly smug. Victory is practically in the bag. But then, wait, hold up. Yo, number 8. Since when did you become a dude? A totally confused voice cuts back in over the comms. I freeze, exchanging a panicked look with Zhang Fan. Oh right, that guard we took out never said a single word. The entire time, they were fully geared up from head to toe. Not even a single strand of hair showing. How the hell were we supposed to know number 8 was a chick? Crap. Numbers 8 and 9 are down. Floor 50, go to full lockdown. Sweep every single inch and find them now. This time a completely different, much deeper male voice barks orders, instantly followed by a wave of heavy confirmations. I can already hear a stampede of footsteps closing in fast. Pure panic floods through my veins. Bro, what do we do now? Zhang Fan's eyes lock onto that wooden door. Every single muscle locks up as he completely shifts into full predator mode. Time to improvise, I whisper, swallowing hard. Those guys are packing literal machine guns. One bad spray and we're toast. Meanwhile, the footsteps are getting closer. Zhang Fan drops into a slight crouch, his ears twitching like an absolute apex predator waiting to pounce. Suddenly, his eyes lock on with laser-sharp focus, and he throws his entire weight right into the door. Boom! The door violently bursts open, right as one of the gunmen happens to walk past. The dude hears the crash, whirling around before the door even hits the floor. But Zhang Fan? It's like he already knew exactly where this guy was going to be. Standing, he pivots instantly, and drives that heavy metal restraint block straight into his face with pure, unadulterated savagery. The guard screams as his mask completely shatters, embedding sharp fragments right into his bloody face. As the guy collapses, I'm just standing there, my jaw absolutely on the floor. This man is a straight-up demon, even without his superpowers. Move! Zhang Fan roars, snapping me right out of my trance. I immediately bolt toward the main office area, but the last remaining guard spots us, raises his weapon and opens fire. Rat-a-ta-ta, a hail of bullets absolutely shreds the air. We both hit the deck instantly, rolling frantically under a row of desks. Go! I've got him covered! Zhang Fan yells, swinging that metal block upward, to shield them from the incoming barrage. Sparks fly off it with a deafening, metallic clang. He weaves through the desks, stealing a quick glance at the metal block. There's not even a single scratch. Whatever this thing is made of, it's basically indestructible. Hearing that, I grit my teeth and sprint like my life depends on it, staying low as I rush toward the manager's office. The glass room is getting closer and closer, but the gunman trading shots with Zhang Fan suddenly locks eyes on me and pivots his rifle in my direction. Get down! Zhang Fan's voice cuts straight through the chaos. I drop to the floor instantly, pure survival instinct taking the wheel. A lethal stream of bullets whizzes right past, missing my head by literal inches. Cold sweat drenches my entire body. But just as the gunman tries to realign his target on me, Zhang Fan launches himself out from under the desk, using it like a springboard, and tackles the guy clean into the dirt. A brutal struggle breaks out, with Zhang Fan pinning the guy down, mercilessly bashing him with the heavy metal block, until he's completely out cold. Right at that moment, I finally smash through the door into the glass office. My aura starts to flicker, and I immediately activate my ability. Boss, get in here! I scream. Zhang Fan deals the final blow to the gunman, then literally parkours over a row of desks, like some elite professional athlete, vaulting clean into the office. I slam the door shut, channel my power, and our reflections instantly vanish from the glass. Right on cue, a squad of armed thugs bursts into the main area, desperately scanning the room. Weird. I definitely heard shots, but there's nobody here. No way. Number 3. One of them yells, spotting their bloody, unconscious teammate on the floor. They came through here. Another snaps with a deep frown. They've probably moved to another floor by now. Put floor 49 on maximum lockdown immediately. What about the flower ghost on 51? She already knows. Honestly, If those kids are dumb enough to head up to 51, it's a literal death sentence, he scoffs. Meanwhile, I'm slumped on the floor of our invisible glass sanctuary, gasping for air. Holy crap, that was way too close for comfort. The old me would have never believed I'd survive. Getting hunted down by squads carrying freaking submachine guns. They seriously can't see us? Zhang Fan asks, watching the thug's eyes sweep right past us, as if we're completely ghosting them. He's never seen this ability in action before, and he's visibly intrigued. I grin proudly. My power lets me bend the physics of reflective surfaces. I'm absorbing the light hitting this glass, and no bouncing light means we're basically invisible. He nods in approval, then asks, did the distress signal go through? I flash him my most confident, self-assured smile. Don't worry, boss. They're definitely going to see it. Meanwhile, down in the city, hey, look over there. What is it? I had no idea this building even had a giant screen. Wait, look at the message. Guichao, save me. Wait, what is that even supposed to mean? Probably just some ad. This is a massive heavy industry corporate building. Maybe it's a teaser for Gao Chen's new product line. Oh yeah, that actually makes sense. But spanning across the entire glass exterior of Qingyun Heavy Industry, massive, blood-red letters are glowing brilliantly under the sunlight. Gao Chen. Save me. Every single character is literally 5 stories tall. And that exclamation mark? It stretches across 8 entire floors. The entire downtown district instantly locks eyes on the skyscraper nearby. Down on the sidewalk, 2 figures freeze dead in their tracks, staring up. Your Majesty. Is that the glasses-wearing assistant? With a long wooden case securely strapped to his back. His jaw drops in utter disbelief. The uncle in the beige trench coat stares for a long beat, before bursting into a laugh. Well, this is interesting. Genuinely hilarious. This is definitely the first time Gao Chen's name has ever been blasted. This shamelessly for the entire world to see. The assistant doesn't even know how to react to this. Honestly, he suspects that if the Academy's notorious troublemakers saw this, they'd immediately claim this guy as a kindred spirit. King Duo, the uncle says with a smirk, looks like our 2 little friends have gotten themselves into some trouble. Go give them a hand. But Your Majesty, if I leave you alone, the assistant gestures to the massive wooden case on his back, totally hesitating. Just meet up with me once you're done. What, you don't trust my own strength? The uncle teases. The assistant quickly shakes his head in panic, bowing respectfully. Please be careful, Your Majesty. I'll wrap this up as fast as I can. With that, he bolts straight toward Qingyun, the giant wooden case bouncing wildly on his back. The uncle just watches the glowing SOS message in silence, completely lost in thought. Meanwhile, over at the hotel, Master, look at that. The silver-haired girl points excitedly toward the distant skyscraper. Gao Chun, save me. The older woman raises an eyebrow in disbelief. Which Gao Chun Jr. pulled off something this incredibly shameless? The silver-haired girl smiles, her crescent moon eyes glinting with pure amusement, as she locks her gaze onto the building. Honestly, I think it's pretty fun. I wonder. Seriously, what kind of absolute psychopath actually dreams up something this twisted? The woman ponders it for a second before deciding, let's go check it out. They're our fellow Guichin citizens. If we can help, we absolutely should. Understood, Master. The young girl chirps, her eyes instantly lighting up. Meanwhile, back over at Qing Yuan Tower, floor 51, Flower Ghost's eyebrow begins to twitch with pure irritation. Are you seriously telling me you ransacked this entire building and still couldn't find a single trace of them? Why yes, ma'am. Comes a trembling, terrified voice over the radio static. We've got every single unit doing a massive top-to-bottom sweep right now. We should have them located any second. Useless trash. Her face goes completely pale, burning with absolute rage. If the envoy finds out she somehow let 2 random teenagers slip right through her fingers, especially after she just gave him major attitude earlier, she is 100% a dead woman the very second she steps back into headquarters. She scoffs, pushing herself up to her feet. She casts a tense glance back at the heavy, sealed metal vault door behind her. It should be totally fine to step away for just a quick second, right? After a brief moment of agonizing hesitation, she makes her call and starts heading straight toward the side exit. Meanwhile, let's cut back to yours truly, right down on floor 50. I'm currently kicked back, lounging like a boss in a plush executive leather chair, feet propped up on the desk, casually watching the mob of angry thugs outside, as they lose their minds trying to hunt us down. Honestly, life is good. But wait, it gets better. A stream of hostile red names just keeps rolling across my mental mirror.
Li Fefeng, +3. Kai Shuguan, +5.
And Luhan +4. Absolute certified legends. Every single one of them. I seriously want to go out there, shake each of their hands, and thank them face to face for these incredibly generous soul energy donations. Jean Fan, however, just stands quietly nearby, keeping a hypervigilant eye on the window. Suddenly, a stray flower petal comes drifting in through the ventilation shaft, spinning lazily through the air before booping me right on the nose. I brush it away, utterly bewildered. Wait. We are 50 stories up in the air. Why on earth are fresh flower petals blowing through the AC vents? While I'm still trying to piece this mystery together, a striking, dangerous figure wearing a rose-patterned mask slowly glides out into the main office space. M.I.M. The remaining thugs stammer in unison, dropping into deep, trembling bows of instant respect. Flower Ghost, rocking killer high heels, casually launches a brutal kick straight at one guard's face. Her razor-sharp stiletto heel pierces clean through his skull. He drops dead on the spot, completely folded. Blood and brain matter are pooling all over the floor. The surrounding guards visibly flinch, completely horrified. My face goes completely pale, and I'm practically holding back vomit. Zhang Fan's jaw clenches hard, his eyes locked onto her with absolute focus. A bunch of useless trash, she mutters coldly. They're hiding right under your noses, and you still can't find them. Slowly, she turns her head, and that eerie rose mask points directly at me. A wave of cold sweat instantly drenches my entire body. I dive straight off the executive chair, hitting full panic mode. Interesting. Some kind of illusion-type technique, huh? Flower Ghost narrows her eyes. From her perspective, the office genuinely looks empty. I mean, who would even think to check inside such a completely transparent room? With a flick of her wrist, several crimson rose petals shoot out, tearing through the air like actual bullets. Clang, clang, clang. The petals pelt the glass and bounce right off, leaving behind white scuff marks but nothing more. She frowns. She knows damn well how much lethal force was behind that attack. It was easily on par with gunfire. Yet, a basic office partition just completely tanked it. Is this glass bulletproof? One of these two brats definitely has a mirror-based ability. She pieces it together instantly, and she isn't wrong. The second her hand twitched, I felt the danger and immediately cranked the glasses. Durability to the absolute max. It was barely enough to survive that single strike. She scoffs, the pattern on her calf lighting up. Suddenly, a massive storm cloud of razor-sharp red petals erupts, swarming straight toward the office. They slice relentlessly into the exact same section of glass, carving white fractures over and over again, digging deeper and deeper with every passing second. Boss, I can't hold this line much longer. I grit my teeth, pushing my ability to its absolute breaking point. There are just way too many petals, and they're all hyper-focused on a single spot. Honestly, even the heavy armor of a literal tank couldn't withstand this kind of sustained onslaught. Crash. The entire glass wall shatters into a million pieces. Just like that, Zhang Fan and I are left completely exposed to everyone. The thug's jaws instantly hit the floor. They finally realize what Flower Ghost meant when she said. They were right in front of them. Now they're staring dead at two kids, who literally just spawned out of thin air. So we wasted all that time hunting them down, while they were just casually vibing right here. In a flash, weapons are raised and aimed, dead center at the two of us. Everyone's just waiting for Flower Ghosts. Green light to turn us into Swiss cheese. Don't do anything stupid, Zhang Fan says under his breath, watching me, secretly readying more mirror shards. She's a Tier 3 ability user. My hand twitches nervously at that. Tier 3, that's the same heavyweight class as Renee. If she were only Tier 2, maybe, just maybe, we'd stand a chance. But a fully healthy Tier 3, with absolutely zero handicaps. Yeah, we are completely cooked. Honestly, throwing our hands up might be our only real shot at surviving. Haha. Hey there, big sis. I think there's been a massive misunderstanding here. We were just trying to play a friendly little game of hide and seek, you know? Ha ha ha. I babble desperately, forcing a smile that looks worse than a crying face. Flower Ghost just stares back with ice-cold eyes, internally stunned. She assumed they used some cheap trick to break the cuffs, but taking a closer look, both heavy metal blocks are completely untouched, which means one of them is completely immune to the restraint's sealing power. No wonder the envoy wanted them kept alive for study. We can't outright flatline them, but breaking a few bones to keep them compliant should be totally fine, right? Don't worry, little guy. Sis is just playing around. She coos, flashing a sweet smile that sends absolute shivers down my spine. Wanna play a quick round of rock paper scissors with me? My eyes light up at that. Games? Oh, I am a literal god at games. Sure. How do we play? Simple. Guess whether I can blow your head off in one punch. That is definitely not how rock, paper, scissors works. Lady. My goofy grin instantly freezes solid on my face, trapped somewhere between laughing and crying. But wait, hold that thought. A cold, icy female voice suddenly cuts through the room. Flower Ghost whips around, scanning the area. There shouldn't be any other woman here besides her. Where the hell did that voice come from? Boom! A massive explosion rocks the building, followed by the deafening sound of shattering glass. Every single window on this side of the floor completely blows out, a violent gale howling through the newly made breach, and knocking everyone completely off balance. But through the roaring wind, a mysterious woman casually steps into the room, her pure white trench coat snapping wildly in the gust, her long hair whipping around her face. Instantly, an invisible pressure floods every single corner of the space. Right behind her, a silver-haired girl follows her in, her dark, gemstone-like eyes scanning the room with pure curiosity, almost like she's hunting for a specific target. Wait, my brain completely short-circuits. These two are my mysterious hotel neighbors. I vividly remember nearly suffocating under that woman's insane aura. Last time, they have superpowers too. Are they with Gauchin? My eyes instantly light up, and I immediately start waving my arms like a complete maniac.
Seigneur.
Are you guys with Gauchin? Did you come to save us? The woman glances over, a flash of surprise, flickering across her face before her lips curl into a slight smirk. We're not with Gauchin. Hearing that, my excitement instantly deflates, but her very next words bring me right back to life. But we did come to save you. Meanwhile, the silver-haired girl studies me intently, her eyes sparkling with a look I can't quite decipher. Who the hell are you two? Flower Ghost demands, locking her gaze onto the woman, clearly on high alert. She can feel the raw, absolute dominance radiating off the stranger. But also, wait a minute. We are on the 50th floor. How did these two just casually stroll in? Through a midair window, she sneaks a glance outside, her brow furrowing. There, floating just outside the shattered glass, a pale blue platform hovers perfectly steady in midair. Is that solid ice? Before her brain can even process it, the woman turns and shoots her a single, utterly dismissive glance. Instantly, Flower Ghost's entire body begins to tremble uncontrollably, pure, unadulterated terror flooding her system. Compared to this powerhouse, her own mental fortitude is nothing. She feels like a single blade of grass, trapped in a Category 5 hurricane. Just one look is all it takes to absolutely shatter her composure. Do you seriously think you're worthy of knowing my name? The woman asks, her voice ice-cold. Pure, unadulterated dominance radiates from every word. Zhang Fan and I can only stare, completely jaw-dropped. She literally neutralized Flower Ghost with a single glance. Just who on earth is this woman? Suddenly, Zhang Fan's entire body goes rigid. He stares at her as the pieces finally click in his head. Master, let me handle this one. The silver-haired girl chimes in, stepping forward. The woman thinks about it for a second, then shrugs. Sure, she's decent enough. Consider it good practice. Flower Ghost feels her knees turn to jelly, nearly collapsing as cold sweat completely drenches her back. She gasps desperately for air, but the silver-haired girl just glides toward her, her face completely expressionless. Go ahead, make your move. A wave of pure, burning humiliation washes over Flower Ghost. Never, since the moment she unlocked her pattern, has anyone broken her spirit with a single look. Except, okay, fine. She can admit the older woman is in a league of her own. But this kid? Some baby-faced brat, who hasn't even fully grown into her powers yet. Absolute rage ignites inside her as her calf pattern flares, and that deadly storm of rose petals explodes back to life. It swarms toward the silver-haired girl with savage, lethal intent. Watch out! I scream, knowing damn well how deadly those petals actually are. They pack full armor-piercing force. A direct hit will instantly shred a human body to ribbons. Yet the older woman just tilts her head, watching my panic with pure, quiet amusement. The silver-haired girl pauses for just a split second, as a blinding white light flashes from her collarbone, and then she stomps her foot. Boom! A massive ice spike erupts from the earth, freezing that entire crimson cloud into solid ice. Of course it's ice. Flower Ghost realizes, gritting her teeth behind her mask. This is her absolute worst matchup. Still, the remaining petals split into 3 insanely sharp blades. They're blitzing her from 3 sides at once, completely locking down every single escape route. But this girl doesn't even blink, smoothly summoning a pristine, pure white longsword right out of thin air. With one fluid slash, a massive, glittering frost dragon erupts from her blade, coiling around her like an ultimate shield. Those 3 lethal petal blades slam right into the dragon, but they can't even leave a single scratch. Instead, a chilling frost rapidly spreads across the petals, slowing them down until they freeze completely solid midair. What kind of insane power is this? Flower Ghost's eyes go wide with pure disbelief. She's never heard of any elemental ability capable of manifesting a literal, living mythical beast.
Frost creation.
The girl says coldly, her hair blowing in the wind, as she holds her sword perfectly steady. My jaw hits the floor. Flower Ghost is a certified Tier 3 powerhouse, and this random girl is just straight up disrespecting her. Is this fragile-looking girl another Tier 3?
Frost creation.
Flower Ghost mutters to herself, then suddenly snaps her gaze to the silent older woman. Shock floods her face as it hits her. I know who you are. You're Beep. Right then, Flower Ghost's radio crackles to life, a panicked male voice cutting through the noise. Lady Flower Ghost. Some guy in glasses carrying a massive wooden case, just completely smashed through the front lobby. He says he's here to rescue his junior. We can't stop him. He's already cleared the 6th floor. Flower Ghost's brain completely short-circuits. Total despair hits her, and she instantly throws in the towel. Behind her mask, the older woman looks over and smiles at me. Looks like Gauchin sent backup for you. My eyes light up immediately. Finally, and from the sound of it, this senior is a literal one-man army. Boss, did you hear that? Gauchin is actually here. Zhang Fan just nods absently, his eyes darting back and forth between the woman and the girl, clearly piecing a massive puzzle together. The silver-haired girl narrows her eyes, keeping her sword leveled right at the defeated, shell-shocked Flower Ghost. Why have you stopped fighting? Flower Ghost lets out a bitter, hollow laugh, gesturing toward the older woman. Even if I somehow beat you, could I ever beat her? What's the point of even trying? But before the girl can even answer, the Flower Ghost's calf crest flares up one last time, and boom, she completely explodes into a swirl of rose petals, getting swept away by the wind straight through the shattered window. Wait, she's making a run for it, the older lady casually remarks, watching the petals scatter. But before she can even finish her sentence, the sword girl's eyes instantly lock on her target, and she dives headfirst right out of the window, chasing those fleeing petals from a whopping 50 stories up. Hold up, did she seriously just jump from the 50th floor? I shout in absolute panic, watching her plunge into the abyss. Meanwhile, the older lady just waves it off like it's nothing. Relax, she's got this. Outside, the gale force wind absolutely screams against the glass skyscraper. That swarm of rose petals is rocket blasting straight down the sheer face of the building, with our sword girl hot on its heels. With every single step she takes on the glass, a micropatch of ice instantly freezes to keep her perfectly balanced. Her silver hair whips behind her like a majestic storm cloud, and she is closing the distance with absolutely terrifying speed. Down on the 36th floor, the glasses-wearing assistant, with that mysterious wooden case strapped to his back, casually steps over a pile of defeated thugs. Suddenly, he spots a crazy flash of movement out of the corner of his eye, and furrows his brows in utter confusion. Can't let her escape any closer to the ground. It's way too risky, and way too public. Time to end this right now, the silver-haired girl mutters. The runic pattern on her collarbone flares to life, and she carves a swift circle in the air with her blade, unleashing a sharp battle cry. In an instant, a blinding white beam of energy erupts at breakneck speed, completely swallowing the cloud of rose petals. They're instantly frozen mid-air, trapping them inside a massive column of ice, with the gorgeous pattern of roses frozen inside, glowing with an eerie, breathtaking beauty under the sunlight. Without skipping a beat, she plants her foot firmly on the glass, and launches herself like a literal meteor, straight at that massive pillar of ice, unleashing a flurry of lightning-fast slashes. Before anyone can even blink, she lands flawlessly on the vertical glass wall. Crack, crack, crack. The entire ice column instantly shatters into a million tiny, glistening fragments, gently drifting downward as the rose petal cloud itself completely disintegrates into sparkling dust, vanishing into thin air. Wait! Why is it suddenly snowing in the middle of summer? Down on the street, a random pedestrian grumbles, wiping the moisture off their face. Stop being so dramatic. It's probably just AC runoff leaking from one of these high-rises. But when he looks up, nothing but clear blue skies. The sun is absolutely blazing. Totally normal, right? Meanwhile, high above the city, completely unnoticed, our mysterious girl watches the last of the ice crystals fade away. She effortlessly dispels her blade, her striking silver hair, gently brushing against her cheek. With a graceful turn, she floats right back toward the 50th floor. Bro, holy crap. That was absolutely insane. My jaw is literally on the floor, after witnessing that entire legendary showdown between the ultimate sword and the flower ghost. So this is what Tier 3 power actually looks like. Seriously, compared to these monsters, I'm basically a helpless little lamb wandering into a den of wolves. The girl steps elegantly back through the window frame, catching a glimpse of my completely starstruck expression. A faint, adorable blush creeps onto her cheeks, and she parts her lips, about to say something. Ding! The elevator suddenly chimes down the hall. As the doors slide open, a sharp-looking young man with glasses scans the area. He frowns slightly as he locks eyes onto a specific spot, hesitates for a split second, and then walks straight toward us. Wait, Qingjia? Is that really you? The older woman murmurs, mildly surprised as she watches him approach. The young man instantly freezes, recognizing her face, and immediately drops into a deep, incredibly formal bow. Gaochen's secretary Qingjia presents his respects to Her Majesty, the Ice Sovereign, and to the esteemed successor of the Ice Sovereign.